2022 edition. Sportstime on Sports 56 with Gabe and also with Stats. We're always live from the Family Leisure Studios in beautiful Memphis, Tennessee. Family Leisure, where family and fun come together. I am former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn on Twitter at G_Kuhn71. Producing the program in the Family Leisure Studios with me is Bryant Dacus on Twitter at Bryant_Dacus. Bryant, hello.
Howdy, gentlemen.
And my partner does pre and post for the Ole Miss Football Radio Network. He is Brett Stats Norsworthy on Twitter at Brett Norsworthy. Brett, hello. How are you?
Good afternoon, Gabe, and we've got college football tonight. We've got the Amazon game, a lot of baseball. The Phillies are about to get themselves in trouble with the Cubs. They're down 2-0, and I can just see them choking that last wild card spot away. We'll have to visit with Greg Gasson about it, Mr. Philly himself, and the Brewers being that last spot and then getting that last laugh on the Cardinals for all those ugly names we've called them.
Yeah, well, they are the seat warmers. Like, we can't.
They are.
That's a proven fact. I don't know if we want to bring it up.
Hey, Niger Morgan, hope you're doing well.
Do we need to bring this up with Greg? I feel like Greg is probably a little uptight about it right now.
I bet so.
Yeah.
We love Greg.
Yeah.
Maybe Phillies pull it out and then we bring it up.
Yeah, maybe let's stay away from it for today and then get back to it when it's all said and done, when it's wrapped up, where he has his thoughts all put together.
Phillies haven't won it since 2008.
Mm-hmm. They have not, and they have fallen short a lot lately. Very depressingly, too.
Interim manager?
Yes. Who's their interim guy right now?
Good question. You got me. I don't know the Blue Jays interim guy.
Do we need to play the MLB manager game? Do we need to do that?
I got the rest of them down except for the two in-season moves.
You know, Bryant's been putting together, and we're going to do it obviously before the
next Thursday.
Before we get into our playoff picks, but we're going to do real player or fake player. Mm-hmm. And he gave me a test one. What was that, yesterday?
Yeah.
It was rough. I was wrong.
It is rough.
I was wrong.
The Cleveland roster.
Yeah. Well,
Seattle
rosters.
Hell, I'd say 12 through 26 was Seattle's tough. San Diego.
If you weren't a Cardinal fan, I bet the Cardinals would be tough outside of the big names.
That's right. DeLuzio, you get down to Burleson,
right.
It would be.
Kisner, right?
But I'm talking frontline guys hitting over 280 with Cleveland and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Because they're all young. I mean, this is like their third year in the league.
Now, the Cleveland pitching's pretty known, but some of those position players, that proverbial fifth outfielder, ooh.
You mentioned college football. We have South Carolina State moved because of Hurricane Ian. And by the way, it looks like it's been downgraded a tropical storm, but that doesn't mean that it didn't do damage already on the west coast of Florida. Still prayers out. And some of the stuff I saw, like people just in there. There was a video of a woman laying in a blow-up raft in her house while it was floating down the street. I mean, I'm not kidding you. The storm surge was insane.
It really was.
Naples,
and every hurricane now is dollar figure is bigger than anything in the past, and everything in Florida impacts more people because just the migration, all the people moving to Florida.
Yes, yep, that is the case. Also in college football, Utah State BYU. That game usually year to year is better than what it's going to look like tonight.
Is it as contemptible, hated as I know Utah BYU is?
Not as much as Utah BYU, but it's pretty close. I mean,
now is Utah and Utah State hated, contemptible?
Yeah, pretty.
But the big ones, BYU,
yeah,
Utah. They can't stand
Holy
each other.
War.
The sight of the other.
I mean, literally the Holy War. Right?
And you mix in religion, and we don't do that, but they do. And I know they did at Utah State well, John Hartwell, and I think Auburn would be money ahead to have John Hartwell at or near the top of some list. Now, what may hurt him is Alan Green, their AD they had to fire that hired Brian Harsin. He came from the Ole Miss. He had Ole Miss background, and so does John. But John's got other places. Was very successful at Troy. He's the AD at Utah State, and I know the first chance he gets, he's gonna jump at the SEC.
Mm-hmm. Also, Thursday night football, we got Dolphins at Bengals. I don't get that line right now, but we'll talk about it. We'll discuss it at the end of the first hour. Bengals 3.5-point favorites. I'm not quite understanding that, but we'll see what happens tonight. Dolphins 3-0, Bengals 1-2. Now, on the show today, I do want to pose this question because we're going to talk about it off the top of the show. At 901-360-8255, of course, the listen line. Text in. What is the real home run record? Tell me right now. 901-360-8255. Is it
For
Barry
the single
Bonds?
season or career?
Single season. Is it Barry Bonds?
It's the same answer to both questions.
Yes, it is. Is it Barry Bonds or is it Roger Maris and now Aaron Judge since he hit his 61st last night? What do you consider? Obviously, we know what it says in the record books. We get
And
that.
tell us your age.
Tell
us your age.
That honestly is a good addition, but let us know at the listener line.
But I'm old, and I think it's Barry Lamar Bonds, single season and career.
Mm-hmm. Yes, and
Roger, how do I know this? I look at the record book and I see 7.62 for a career.
Right.
Well, that beats 7.55.
Yep.
I see for a single year 73 in that top 70.
Mm-hmm. I want to.
I think it's simple.
I want to hear at the listener line 901-360-8255. Brett and I will discuss that in just a moment. Also on the show today, we're going to talk about the Tiger basketball day open practice. We have NBA training camp going along. We have 5 a.m. basketball. You guys going to be up for that?
Yes.
Ready to watch?
You better believe it.
Some
Live
Warriors
from Tokyo,
Wizards?
right?
Yeah, Warriors Wizards.
NBA TV.
I think so. Yeah.
I hope so.
I saw ESPN sent Kendra Andrews out there. She was out there reporting this morning.
I'm going to live tweet it.
Are you?
Do it.
Is that right? Unbelievable defense by the second team of.
You got to be kidding me on that call.
Yeah, ridiculous.
Tony Brothers, what are you thinking?
But
Even if he's not reffing, I'm going to live tweet that.
We do have training camps rolling along in the NBA. As far as our guests are concerned, 3:30, Bill Bender will join us from the Sporting News, talk some college football. College football week 5 is upon us, and we have plenty to get to there. 4 o'clock. Obviously, prayers out for Keith Smith in the Orlando area. He's not going to be able to join us.
They're doing well. I've texted
good.
with Keith this afternoon, and he could have joined later, but he's got a lot going on.
Yes, but obviously hope everybody in his family is doing okay. But instead of Keith, he will join us next week. Rob Fisher will join us, and we have to talk everything.
Span the globe.
Grizzlies. I don't know what else. Cardinals. Tigers, college football. We're going to talk everything.
The crossroads of the SEC, where I sent y'all pictures a few weeks ago.
Yes,
we'll talk that with him.
Yes. And then 5 o'clock, Greg Gasson will join us from the Tigers sideline and also from Sports 56 Mornings with Eli Savoy. We'll talk about the Tigers. We'll talk about IARP finally being over with. A lot to get to with Greg at 5 o'clock. We'll get out with 5:45 with Taco Bell Crunch Time. Again, listener line 901-360-8255. Send in who you think holds the single-season home run record. Also, watch us live and message us on our socials, Sports 56 WHBQ, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and go to our website, sports56whbq.com. Let me just go ahead and throw this out there. This happened last night.
And the 3-2. Drilled deep to left field. This could be it. See ya. He's done it. Number 61. He's been chasing history, and now he makes it. He and Roger Maris are tied with 61 home runs, the most anybody has ever hit in a single season in American League history.
Awesome stuff for Aaron Judge last night. Very, very, very cool to see.
Great call by Michael Kay.
Michael Kay does a really good job. And I think Aaron Judge is much as this is being talked about, a lot of people think it, weirdly enough, I see people out there thinking that this is not being taken seriously, and people are not making it a big deal because of the people that are ahead of him in the National League. Obviously, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds holds the single-season home run record. I don't get that. I thought you guys told me, what was that, on Monday, the coverage was getting annoying to you. I finally experienced that last night. I finally.
Come on over.
I was right there with you. Because Albert.
Come on, big man.
Albert at 700.
Big broad shoulders for me and Brian here. You come over with us. We'll give you a big hug.
Big broad shoulders. Albert at 700. It should have gotten played up substantially more. And Aaron Judge,
He's in Middle America, and Aaron's in the media capital of the world.
I get that. But
the city that never sleeps.
To completely cut away from every bit of programming you're doing to show me the at-bats a little much for me personally.
It's a little much for me, but big picture, I'm glad baseball getting this focus.
Good point. Good point.
And because baseball needs, and we're getting ready to get into a wheelhouse time of the year for baseball for a lot of people that are look, if we don't know the Cleveland roster, there are a lot of people that don't know the Yankees roster, and a lot of people are going to start tuning in next Friday morning early, and I think we'll have maybe even Central Time. I'm hoping we have like a 10:45 start.
Oh, I'd love
It'd
that.
be 11:45 in the East. I think we'll have to go at least 2 Eastern games in an 11-ish window, and then another one in a 1:45 window. Then the Cardinals may be in that traditional Central Time, maybe later. It could be like a 8:30 St. Louis time start because we're going to have 3 Eastern time zones in next
Pointed that
week.
out yesterday.
I love it when you get out the ceremonial red, white, and blue banners and bunting, and we get into baseball. And speaking of bunting, not ceremonial bunting, who is it? There's a playoff. There's somebody that's vying for that's in the playoffs. They're close to being the first team in Major League Baseball history to go 162 games without a sacrifice bunt. Who is it? There's one of these really good teams. I don't think it's Cleveland.
I'm not totally positive on that.
Braves.
Is the Braves?
Braves. Yeah. It is the Braves. Thank you, Brian. The world champ at this point. Well, what if you needed it on that last day of the year? You can't be trying to get some goofy record.
Now, Aaron Judge, of course, ties the AL record for home runs in a season with Roger Maris, who set it in 1961. And Roger Maris Jr. has been on hand ever since Aaron Judge hit 60. And we know whenever this thing comes about, Roger Maris Jr. is on hand. He was on hand in the Summer of Love there in 1998. He's been on hand every step of the way when Roger Maris and his record are going to get passed. He was talked to by the press after the game, and he was asked about the record at hand and what he thought about the MLB and what they should do going forward with it. This is what he had to say.
I think it means a lot, and it's not just for me. I think it means a lot for a lot of people, that he's clean, he's a Yankee, he plays the game the right way, and, I think it gives people a chance to look at somebody who, should be revered for hitting 62 home runs and not just as a guy who did it in the American League. He should be revered for, being the actual single-season home run champ. I mean, that's really who he is if he hits 62, and I think that's what needs to happen. I think baseball needs to look at the records, and I think baseball should do something.
Now, he's got 7 games to get to 62. It seems very, very likely. But I did get a kick out of he's clean, he's a Yankee, and he plays the game the right way. But regardless, Roger Maris Jr. says he wants the MLB to go back and change the home run record to show Judge and Maris as the leaders at this moment. I'll say this, and I've stuck by this the whole time, and I'm going to hand it off to you after this, Brad. We can acknowledge Judge and Maris and rarefied air. We have acknowledged Maris as an all-timer, a guy that always gets mentioned when we're talking about a single-season home run race. We have always acknowledged him, and that happened in 1961. He broke that record in 1961. I do think being clean means more. I do. But we don't have to completely change the record book to show that. I think people are smart enough on their own to realize that Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds in front of them have certain things attached to their name. Aaron Judge and Roger Maris don't. And I think that it has been taken seriously this whole time. I don't see why that has to change.
Well said. I don't want to say anything about Roger Maris or about his son or his family.
Of course not.
That's
his opinion, and that's why I asked for 901-360-8255. I want everyone's opinion on this.
That's it. That's his opinion. I happen to disagree with it, but I do know where the motivation comes for those feelings, and he wants the light to keep burning for his dad, and I don't blame him at all. But in the summer of 98, when he was ever present at the Summer of Love, I bet you he would have said about the same quote about Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire then. Maybe not Bonds a few years later, but in the Summer of Love, maybe not even in 99 in the summer rerun year when McGwire got 65 and Sosa got 63 or so. But in 98, they were around and they were enjoying it like we all were and lapping it up. And now I think, to go back and strike the records, it's like taking banners down and changing wins and all these media guides and record books. We saw what happened.
Yes, that's the thing. And it bothers me because that was my childhood. That was growing up seeing the steroid guys. You can't tell me that didn't happen. Steroids or not. It was electric at that time. Let's be honest.
They still swatted it out.
Let's be honest, Brett. It was electric baseball at that time.
It was.
See what Sammy Sosa and Mark McGwire were doing, even Barry Bonds getting walked.
It
as many
motivated
times.
Bonds.
It was unreal. It was fun to watch. Is it going to be marred in controversy as long as we talk baseball? Of course. But you're not going to tell me it didn't happen. And also, just to show you how opinionated this is, Aaron Judge himself says that Barry Bonds' record is the real record for obviously the entire MLB, AL, NL. But I also think when we talk about these things, okay, you don't have to like McGwire, Sosa, Bonds. I'm not big fans of any of them, to be honest with you,
I don't
anymore.
know that I am either.
I'm just not. I don't think they're all that nice of people in the end of the day, but it is what it is. But paired with, when you pair Bond or put Bonds, McGwire, Sosa in that conversation and we talk about that time in baseball history, I feel like what they did and the amount of home runs that were being hit, yes, it ended badly, but it was an age of Major League Baseball that was almost necessary at that time. It needed it after the 94-95 labor strife.
Baseball encouraged it.
You needed it. And I understand, Bud Selig.
Baseball was all but there with the hypodermic needles.
But after the fact, Bud Selig cracked down on it, and we look at steroids a completely different way in the MLB. I think it's gone overboard in a lot of ways. But at the same time, we're not going to change the record book to make it show differently because someone was on steroids or were supposedly on steroids. I don't.
Or a really nasty
I'm
guy
not
like
that.
Ty Cobb.
Yeah, in the end of the day, Brett,
A raging racist. Do we want to
Right.
strike him from persona non grata? I
Right.
don't. I don't think you have to, and I don't. You don't have to like him, but I don't think he needs to be. I'll use the word canceled.
yeah. In the end of the day, though, Brett, I think me and you are on the same page when it comes to you can remember Maris and Judge differently than the guys ahead of them, and we can still keep the same record book.
Yeah.
That's how we need to go about it.
And be civil about it.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And we come from two different. I mean, we come from 60 and 27. I mean,
Right.
that's alpha and omega,
Right.
practically. This hour of our show brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, the one and only Lexus dealership in town at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2022 models, 2023 starting to arrive, and always special leasing options. Driving luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by today at Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of all new 2022 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top of the line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
It's hard not to call what we just talked about the top story of the day. It is the top story of the day. Aaron Judge gets to 61. And did it in cool fashion. He's been unbelievable. Triple Crown guy in the
Really
AL.
cool.
He's the MVP. He's one of the best home run hitters we've seen in this entire millennia. He's been unbelievable.
He seems like a thoroughly decent fella.
Yeah, and I thought he handled everything after the game well. He was like, as much as I want to look back and have fun with this, we have things ahead of us that we have to figure out. The Yankees have not been all that good since the All-Star break. He seems like he's more worried about playoff time than actually breaking the record. But good for Aaron Judge, 61. He has 7 games to get to 62 to break the AL record. And I certainly want to see it from a guy like him.
I'm right there with you. Aaron Judge ties Roger Maris with 61 home runs with Roger Maris Jr. in attendance in Canada. It gave the Yankees the lead, and the Yankees will be the 2 seed in the AL bracket. Houston's going to be 1. Both will get first-round byes. 3 will be Cleveland. We know that much. Right now, Toronto's 4, Tampa Bay's 5, and Seattle 6. And it would be right now it would be 3 versus 6, Cleveland versus Seattle, 4 versus 5, Toronto at Tampa Bay. And then it gets interesting. It gets really interesting for the Yankees and for Cleveland. If they can battle each other, who will get home field advantage into the divisional series? I'm looking forward to it. Except for the Dodgers, it's wide open.
Not top story of the day.
That's a Dennis Dodd report coming from CBS Sports. The Big Ten's already talking about more expansion. And we talked about Amazon trying to get involved with some of these TV deals, and maybe there's some other streamers out there that want to get some college football games involved on their platform. But this comes as Amazon is looking to partner with the Big Ten. And for the Big Ten, they don't have much content right now with the 16 teams, including USC and UCLA that they'd have, so they'd need to add more for additional content. And Dennis Dodd is reporting that an offer that could be deemed substantial enough would likely convince Big Ten presidents to add 4 schools: Cal, Oregon, Stanford, and UW, Washington. And they think that they could potentially be valuable additions to the league. And then there's the question about, okay, if this happens, where is the Pac-12 at? 6 teams left. How would they be able to survive? And the thought is that they won't. The thought is that they would fall flat and they would collapse because the Big 12 is very interested. We talked about the 4 corner schools: Arizona, Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah. If the Big Ten were to make a move for Cal, Oregon, Stanford, and Washington, that would be the next domino to fall. Those 4 schools would go to the Big 12. Then Oregon State, Washington State would be stuck looking for a landing spot, and who knows what that would be. But still, a lot of changes to college athletics on the horizon.
I love your not top story, and I like Dennis Dodd's work. I don't know him. I've met him. He wouldn't know me at all, but I read him every day. I like him. I think he's really plugged in. But isn't this really kind of a copy and paste, updated, dusted off story from 2 weeks ago, and that one from 2 weeks prior to that? It's always getting ready to happen. It's almost like he's sounding an alarm.
It's always a step a little farther along of we're getting closer to finalizing this thing. It's not there yet, but I know what you mean. It does sort of get copy and pasted every month or so.
We need this next May, Dennis. We need it June after the NBA playoffs are over. We don't need this now. My not top story: first time since 1958 that a ranked Kentucky football team and a ranked Ole Miss football team will meet in football. First time Kentucky and Oxford since 2010. Both teams 15-3 in their last 18. 12 straight at Vaught-Hemingway for Ole Miss. A current home win streak of 12-gamer, the longest since a 12-gamer over a span of 1960 to 1964. And they played a lot of home games then in Jackson and in Memphis. And something has to give early Saturday morning. I love that setup by the announcer. Something's got to give. By 2:30 Saturday, someone will be 5-0. And next week, that team, at worst, will probably be ranked 7th, where Kentucky, where they are this week.
Yep. Pack the Vaught, right? How about it?
Pack the Grove, pack the Vaught. The Grove's always packed. We got to worry about the Vaught being packed, and it will be this Saturday.
It was a sellout. Is it a sellout yet? Okay.
It is a hard sellout.
Right.
It is. I mean, it's not one of those where they say it's sold out and that pushes more sales. It's really sold out.
Mm-hmm. No question about it. That'll do it for top and not top story of the day.
And will be fun, bright and early Saturday morning. We come on this radio station at 9 o'clock pregame. Kickoff's at 11. Now, I know, the impossible. Me going up against Paul Feinbaum and Laura Rutledge some 200 yards away. Still come by and see us pregame. That's hard. That's hard to fend off.
You got
isn't
it, Brett. You'll be all right. You'll be all right.
Yeah, it will be fun Saturday morning in the Grove. Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel, and football season. It's underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sports book, because right now new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back if your first bet doesn't win. Sign up with promo code SPORTS56. Yeah, promo code SPORTS56 for all your fun at FanDuel like tonight. I love the Bengals. I love Joe Burrow. I love Burrow to go over his passing yards. I love Jamar Chase to go over his receiving yards, and the game to go under, all on an app that's safe, secure, and super easy to use. So sign up today with promo code SPORTS56 for your no-sweat first bet. That's promo code SPORTS56. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 and older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Reach out call Tennessee Redline, 1-800-889-9789.
A lot of good matchups in college football. Week 5, we're going to have Kentucky Ole Miss. We're going to have A&M, Mississippi State, Michigan, Iowa. That should be a fun one. At Iowa. There's some interesting stats to bring up about that as well. But to talk about all that and more, we bring on our guy on college football, Bill Bender.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows. Stay up to date with station events and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every dollar you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert. For the best quality air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choate's will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choate's, and remember, let our family serve your family.
Attention sports fans. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you with the tables. You need a sportsbook with integrity, longevity, and you need to know you're gonna get paid. You need a sportsbook that offers everything, including live betting, MMA, golf, horses, esports, and all kinds of crazy bets. Call today at 1-800-79-BET-US. That's 1-800-79-BET-US, and they will walk you through setting up an account. Nobody in the industry gives better bonuses than BetUS. Join now. Mention BetUS 2022, and you can get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. Nobody beats that. Head to BetUS.com and join today. That's BetUS, where the game begins.
Collierville Auto Center is all about trucks and Jeeps, and the inventory is all stocked up. Been looking for that special ride? You're covered from the basics on up. Want to sell your truck or Jeep? Then bring it in and get a fair deal. The technicians at Collierville Auto Center know just about all there is to know when it comes to trucks and Jeeps, so don't be afraid to ask questions. They've probably heard them all. Every truck on the lot has been fully serviced from top to bottom and bumper to bumper, and there are warranties available. Collierville Auto Center, 651 West Poplar in Collierville, and online at colliervilleautocenter.com.
Hey sports fans, this is Ultimate Vegas Insider John Anthony, and I'm on fire. To prove it, I'm releasing your Thursday night report absolutely free on recorded message line. Call 1-800-244-5506. I love tonight's matchup. Miami-Cincinnati is a monster, side and total. Miami-Cincinnati critical information confirmed, plus the weekend early releases. That's 5 big plays. John Anthony has you covered. I love to go 5-0 free on a recorded message line. 1-800-244-5506. Information wins. John Anthony Sports, #1 against the spread. Miami-Cincinnati is huge. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want the information? I've got it. Call the recorded message line, 1-800-244-5506. 1-800-244-5506, or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group.
So what if summer's coming to a close? It'll be back, and you'll be ready with a new spa. Why's that? because the world's biggest spa sale is happening right now at Family Leisure. Right now through October the 2nd, you will get the best ever prices on spas. Family Leisure has a large selection of spas still in stock and ready to ship, and up to 30% off. Yes, 30% off in-stock spas. You want a swim spa? Now's the time to buy with huge discounts just for you. Special financing is available. Plus, you can get free upgrades on select spas. Just ask about it. Family Leisure also has fantastic deals on saunas and massage chairs. So, while summer is coming to a close, you should be opening up to a new spa during the world's biggest spa sale happening right now through October the 2nd at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
Absolutely spectacular design, spared no expense.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
It is always a good Thursday and a good time when we bring on Bill Bender to talk with us about some college football on a Thursday. He's from Sporting News. You can find him on Twitter at BillBender92, and he joins us now via the phone line. Bill, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely, as always. Love it. Now, real quick, we do have some top 25, top 15 matchups. I want to talk about one, though, against it's going to be top 5 versus unranked in Kinnick Stadium, Iowa versus Michigan. I saw this stat earlier today, and it's kind of funny because I have a brother who covers Iowa. I believe you've been on his show before in Cedar Rapids. But Kinnick has been really hard to play in as an opponent. Last 6 top 5 teams to visit Kinnick, only one has won, and that was Penn State, I believe, in 2017. They had to win on the last play of the game. Do you think that Michigan should be scared this week? Is it as scary as it normally is versus an Iowa team?
They're come ready to play based on that stat. I think Scott Dockerman did a great piece on that at The Athletic. And your brother obviously has probably talked about that a lot this week. There's some Michigan in general. Kinnick's been a really tough place for them to win. I think they've won there like one time since 2005. But the fact that it's a noon game helps Michigan.
Right.
I think, and the thing to watch in that game is J.J. McCarthy. He's a young quarterback, first road start. The only thing I noticed from him last week is he's got to let the play be done when it's not there. You know what I mean? He can't. Mm-hmm. There's something about making something out of nothing. There's also something about making a mess out of nothing, and he's got to know the difference.
Mm-hmm.
Bill, the P.J. Fleck model in the Big Ten, what he's done, rowing that boat at Minnesota, a lot of people saying that's the perfect model for Nebraska. Why wouldn't he be the perfect model for Nebraska? Why wouldn't P.J. Fleck be the perfect guy for Nebraska?
Well, I mean, yeah, what they've done, what they did last week in particular was very impressive to shut out Michigan State the way they did, and it's definitely a team worth watching. I think he would fit in Nebraska, but I think he would have some success. I mean, it's taken a while at Minnesota. Their season in 2020 got derailed by COVID, but they run the football. They stop the run. They play tough. They rely on a veteran quarterback. I like the scheme. There's a lot to like about P.J. Fleck.
He brings the energy.
And also, is Mo Ibrahim one of the most undercovered stories this year? Because he has been unbelievably good through the first 4.
He's one of the best stories of this year so far, being that good, coming off the the ruptured Achilles tendon, and then he was so good in that opener, and he was good last week. And PJ, one of the things with even dating to his Western Michigan days, the one thing he had was a solid running game, and they continue to have that at Minnesota, and I look for that to continue.
Mm-hmm. Bill, I love to give you column feature story ideas. Here's one, maybe the top 6, maybe not go all the way through 14 for either or both, but the best of the group, and compare who really has the best quarterbacks, the SEC or the Big Ten.
Ooh, probably the SEC in terms of depth. I mean, between Young, Hooker, Jefferson, Levis, that's pretty good. I mean, with Michigan, McCarthy, I do think right now out of all of them, though, Stroud's playing the best. He's playing, and
he separates himself.
Some of it is the guys he's thrown to, Brett. Some of it is the guy throwing the ball. I mean, he's pretty phenomenal, making great decisions with the football. And his accuracy right now is, I mean, the way he controls the game with the accuracy is pretty ridiculous.
Yeah, but with the SEC, it's like I feel like I'm not used to having this much talent at the quarterback position in that conference, like truthfully. And I guess you can date it back to like Alabama and even Georgia, some teams earlier in like the 2010s running the ball didn't need that type of guy. And Alabama has obviously changed since then. But like I look at a guy like Will Levis at Kentucky. I don't think Mark Stoops has ever had a guy like that, and that just makes it so much deeper. And I saw Mel Kiper ranked him as I think the second his second quarterback as far as his draft board is concerned. What do you think about Will Levis? And obviously we'll talk about Ole Miss, Kentucky here in just a second.
Yeah, I mean, he's been good. He's been real good. He's 300-yard games his first season. A guy that has made the right decisions with football, again, accuracy. And, you know, they haven't had a strong running game behind him. So to me, that makes it even more impressive, the way that he's playing and dealing and managing, not just managing the game, but making plays for Kentucky. That will get tested this weekend. They're going to have to run the ball a little bit better against a physical Ole Miss defense. So, yeah, I mean, one of those guys definitely going to be playing for money here soon and playing for his draft stock. And, you know, Mel knows that stuff better than I do, so I just trust his evaluation.
Mm-hmm. But what do you think about that Ole Miss team so far? Just seeing what they've been able to do through 4 games, not really tested all that much. You get a game against Tulsa where you play close, but it was not that close at halftime. It looks like they lost a little bit of juice going into the second half. Are you sold on that Ole Miss team with Jackson Dart sort of running that offense?
I mean, I think they've been pretty good, and you know, you got to like a lot of what he's doing because they're protecting him with that running game that averages 280 yards per game. Yeah. If it's saying anything about the program, they're almost flying under the radar, which is tough to do when you're Lane Kiffin. But the way that they've been able to manage that and play well, I think it's a fun game. It's an early noon game. I got all the things about the Grove, but I like Ole Miss this weekend. I think they keep it rolling and knock off Kentucky in a close one.
I'm going to need you guys to do it because I don't have a prayer doing it with the early start for me on Saturday, but a good one tomorrow night, late at the Rose Bowl Stadium. I don't know how many people are going to be there, but we have 21 undefeateds left. We only have 3 matchups this weekend of undefeated versus undefeated in FBS, and one of them at 9:30 Central Time, 10:30 OHIO time. Washington at UCLA, a good one late on Friday night to start the weekend for us.
Yeah, it is, and I think it'll be a late night. I'll probably stay up and watch. Washington, like both these teams, they both average over 500 yards total offense. They're both scoring at an incredible rate. I think both are over 40 points per game. Both have had really good quarterback play, whether it's Dorian Thompson-Robinson or Michael Penix. Pac-12's had a good game every week, and that bodes well for their playoff chances to me. That, you know, if somebody can get out of that conference with 1 loss or less, I mean, there has been a game worth watching in the Pac-12 every single Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Also, we have this Alabama-Arkansas game, 2:30 on CBS. Arkansas, in their secondary, they've been very leaky. Even against Missouri State, they had issues. I'm curious about this after last week, losing to A&M. I wonder if they lost a little bit of juice. I know Sam Pittman gets his guys up. I do. And I think he does a good job of trying to keep their focus sort of dialed in. But against this Alabama team, do you think Arkansas can somehow keep it close and potentially have a chance to win in the fourth quarter at home?
I think it's going to go the other way. I think this is the Alabama reminder game.
Yeah.
You know, like set your clock. So, by the way, Alabama's really good.
Tough matchup.
Because of that pass defense and the way that Bryce Young carved them up a little bit last year. I think he had 5 or 6 touchdowns. And the reason Arkansas stayed in the game is because K.J. Jefferson was getting the ball down the field to Treylon Burks. They don't have a Treylon Burks anymore. So unless Arkansas can control this game on the ground, I get that Arkansas could win this game and keep it close. I just feel like we're in for one of those vintage Alabama road games. Granted, I said the same exact speech about Texas.
Mm-hmm.
Bill, red letter year on the field for college football, just an outstanding September. Gabe and I, the only argument we've had, was it a 9-9 or was it a 10?
Yeah.
It was just outstanding for September. Off the field, a lot of meetings this week in Chicago with the CFP, and also Gabe referenced the Dennis Dodd story earlier about the Big Ten maybe longing for 4 more members from the Pac. Which one of those two you think will hit critical mass first? We not only we're going to have a playoff, but we're going to have it after the 24 season, or more conference realignment?
I think we'll have the playoffs before we have more realignment.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling strong about that. I mean, for me, the playoff expanding the way it did gave the Big Ten little incentive to add more teams. I mean, because these other conferences are already going to get in, so why not just strengthen what you already have? Now, if the UCLA situation escalates where they get blocked from going to the Big Ten, all bets are off. Because they may just go get 4 schools from the Pac-12 at that point.
Truly, what's the possibility of that with the UCLA situation?
Well, we're going to find out. I mean, okay. I think, it's hard for them, it's going to be hard to, if it becomes a legal fight, it gets weird. And then, if you're stuck in limbo, you're going to make everybody mad. So hopefully they can make a decision that's not tied up in courtrooms for a while, because that can get really messy.
So, but with the Dennis Dodd story, you see, and this has been, I mean, it's just step by step. You hear it, it's rumored, everyone's saying it's the rumor. Cal, Oregon, Stanford, Washington. If that domino falls, do you think there's any possible way the Pac-12 can survive?
I mean, not if they lose Washington and Oregon,
right?
Because it becomes more of a brand value. It becomes more of a Mountain West than a Pac-12, unfortunately. And that's part of this whole deal. That's how I would look at it. I think, it was funny. One of my articles popped up on Chartbeat today that I wrote 5 years ago. It was all the realignment scenarios that we always talk about. And this was 2017, and most of them have come true, except I had Oklahoma going to the Big Ten instead of the SEC, but the rest of them have kind of super conferences, Texas to the SEC, Notre Dame's ACC flirtation. It's all come true.
Mm-hmm. Last thing for you, and we've been talking about this all week, and I saw Joel Klatt even came out and said the same thing, but about that Auburn job that potentially, it seems like it's going to open up relatively soon. I know that Harsin saved himself for one more week because Nathaniel Pete wanted to fumble through the back of the end zone, but it looks like Auburn's going to move on. What do you think of the prospects of Deion Sanders getting that job at Auburn?
Well, I may or may not have a list ready, like everybody else, if he gets fired. And Deion may or may not be at the top of it, along with, if it's not Deion, it's Urban. I could see him going to one of those two. And if it's not one of those two, it's probably Hugh Freeze.
Yep.
So this is Auburn. They need a coach. They have a track record of hiring whoever they want. I think it's just striking to me that they made the Harsin hire in the first place. It has to be one of the worst hires in school history because they never gave him a chance. It's not even about Brian Harsin. It's about the fact that the program never gave him a chance. And so you can't act surprised when it goes south the way that it did.
Yeah, it's the people behind the scenes. And that's the one thing, no matter who you're hiring in this situation, they have to make sure that they can control those guys behind closed doors. Because this has been very, very you got to see a lot of the inner workings of that Auburn program. And now Hugh Freeze, I do think he would walk 1,000 miles on broken glass to get that Auburn job.
Be back in the SEC.
That's just my feel on it. But
he would. He would, Gabe.
I'm sure they have a couple of guys ahead of him on that. But, Bill, always appreciate it, man. Have a good weekend.
Have a great weekend, Bill.
And we'll talk next week.
Yeah, I'll talk to you guys next week. Thanks so much for having me on. Take care.
You got it.
Appreciate it. That is Bill Bender at Bill Bender 92 on Twitter. Obviously, National College Football writer for the Sporting news. Now, attention sports fans, your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for their 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of 200%, BetUS offers their members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite sports leagues, including the NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. They've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and their live dealers are waiting for you at the tables. You need a sports book with integrity and longevity, and you need to know that you're going to get paid. You need a sports book that offers everything, including live betting, MMA, golf, horses, esports, and all kinds of crazy bets. Call today, 1-800-79-BET-US. That's 1-800-79-BET-US, and they will walk you through setting up an account. Nobody in the industry gives better bonuses than BetUS. Join now. Mention promo code Sports56Radio. Again, that's promo code Sports56Radio, and you can get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. Nobody beats that. Head to BetUS.com and join today. That's BetUS, where the game begins. And let me tell you, we do have a game tonight, Thursday Night Football. We're about to talk about it next. Do me a favor. Sign up with BetUS using promo code Sports56Radio and put some money immediately. Plus 155 on the Dolphins tonight. They're a dog on the road against the Bengals. They're going to get some pressure on Joe Burrow. They're going to be able to air it out to Jalen Waddle and Tua Tagovailoa. That's free money. But we're going to go ahead and talk about it. Coming up next.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. It's been a particularly rainy season, and that stain on your ceiling isn't getting any smaller, exposing your family to the possibility of mold. Let me come take a look. 867-0303. Our technicians are Owens Corning Platinum Preferred, so don't let someone tell you that it has to be replaced if all you need is a repair to get several more years of life. 867-0303. Have me on your speed dial for when life's little catastrophes come up. 867-0303. Upgrade your roof to a beautiful Owens Corning Duration Architectural Shingle with a 50-year warranty and an unheard of 25-year labor guarantee. I'll measure your roof from outer space and give you a competitive estimate right over the phone. Buy now and pay nothing till 2022 with approved credit. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Need, want, dream about a new ride? We got it at Gossett Kia on the Pike. 2023 Kia Seltos LX all-wheel drive super new SUV. Only $257 a month. 36-month lease, $29.99 due at signing. Looking for luxury and performance? 2023 Kia K5 LXS sedan. We got it at $293 a month. 36-month lease, $31.99 due at signing. If you don't see what you want, not a problem. Let Bobby J order a new ride for you today. Plus, Gossett Kias come equipped with a 10-year 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. Ask for Bobby J. He'll put you in a new Kia today. Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, or shop 24/7 KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
$650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, 0 security deposit. Seltos P 738-6423, MSRP 25,325, K5 950-6883, MSRP 26,860. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax, title, and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/1/2022. Dealer stock only.
Whether it's a small clog or a large sewer main drain issue, the experienced technicians at Conway Services are ready to solve all your drain problems. For a limited time, take advantage of our $93 or it's free drain clearing special. That's right, $93 or it's free. If we can't clear it, you don't pay.
License number 64210, 64365, EAS MS 19668.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Hi, folks. Good news from the Chevy Sheriff for truck buyers. A Chevy Truck Month at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch. Rebates up to $2,000. Discounts high as $10,000. Bankrupt, slow pay, bad credit. It's okay. Sunrise specializes in secondary financing. Need a good used truck? Remember, Sunrise Chevy specializes in used cars and trucks under $15,000. Chevy trucks cost less at the Sunrise Chevy Ranch, partner. Find new roads to 385 in Houston, Levy, and Collierville. Check out the all-new Sunrise Truck Corral. Huge selection of nothing but trucks. All makes, all models, all prices, all trucks, all the time. Next to Sunrise Wolf Chase.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis.
I work hard for this. I want you to know that.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Back rolling with Sportstime on Sports 56 with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe, he's Stats. Do have a couple of texts at the listener line, 901-360-8255, that I want to read about what we opened the show on, and that's Aaron Judge hitting number 61. What do you consider the real home run record? Somebody chimes in. They say, I do consider in a lot of ways Roger Maris the real home run record along with Aaron Judge. But at the same time, I do know that there are guys ahead of him on the list. So that's sort of how we feel. I feel like we can have a nuanced conversation about this. We can.
And remember this
It
about
doesn't have to
Bonds.
be one way or the other.
We know he was on PED. That's definitive. We also know those cold home games, his hands playing by that bay, those winds, and the dimensions of that ballpark. It is the anti-cookie cutter. It is the anti-Homer Dome.
And for me, maybe it's pretty. It hits home to me because I got to watch Barry Bonds in that ballpark. That's why I have family. I had family that lived out on the West Coast, lived in Sonoma, and I used to always go up to AT&T when it was AT&T at that time and watch him play. I remember watching a game, Sammy Sosa on the Cubs versus Barry Bonds on the Giants. It was fantastic. It was fun. Did it end well? No, but it happened. You can't ignore it. I'm sorry, you just can't. Vinny chimes in. Vinny says, it sort of agrees with me here, baseball was way more entertaining during those days. Now, I think there's an argument from the other side that would say because of all the stuff that followed and all of the nastiness brought about because of the steroid era, we had a lot of people turned away from the game, and we haven't quite gotten that viewership back. I don't know about that, but I tend to agree. I thought it was more entertaining, and they needed it at that time.
Sure did.
Also, and this is clearly close to home for this texter. I had never watched an MLB game in my life, but I had to hurry home to watch Barry Bonds. Like Derrick Rose at Memphis, you cannot tell me I didn't see what I saw.
Amen.
That is very
Text
fair.
of the year.
That is very fair. I love that. Great text. If you want to hit us up on this conversation, 901-360-8255. You can also hit us up on a bunch of different conversations as well. Now, we have Thursday Night Football tonight. Dolphins versus the Bengals. Tua versus Joe Burrow. Last time they met 46-41 in a shootout.
One of the
LSU
great
versus
games
Bama.
of all time. Bill Bender has a column up at Sporting. We should ask you about this at Sporting News. Where does it rank as one of the all-time college football games that day? Bama gave up 46 at Bryant-Denny.
The offenses were ridiculous that day. Like the talent that was on the field. The wide receiver, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase, Waddle was out there, Ruggs,
Judy,
oh my God, it just
Devontae.
never, it didn't stop. It was ridiculous. So no,
The defensive backs, Stingley,
offensive line as well. Was Evan Neal out there at that time? I don't know if Evan Neal was out there, but Alex Leatherwood
sure was.
Lloyd Cushenberry was out there. There's so many guys that were out there on
the
that
head
field.
coaches,
The
Nick
talents.
Saban Nick Saban.
I can't believe Ed O won that game. Thinking about it, like just thinking back.
Remember him post game. Blank Bama. We passed them. Remember all that captured?
Yeah, that didn't last very long, did it? That ain't good. But what a coaching mismatch that ended up on the wrong end of history, right? Although that team he had and the assistants he hired were fantastic. Aranda Brady, yeah, I mean, come on, they were running that team.
Steve Ensminger,
yeah. Well, Ensminger, he was the OC, but Joe Brady and that passing coordination was really what got them over top. Because
Ensminger did a great job keeping them
physical.
Orgeron sane.
And also, I think Ensminger did a good job of sort of keeping them physical in the trenches and running the ball with Clyde Edwards-Helaire and finding a way to get that done. But I remember the
first 300 names of the Baton Rouge phone book could have had the success with that team.
Yes, the years before that with Ensminger, though, it was sort of his offense. He needed to move on. He needed to move forward, and Joe Brady helped them do that. But they were good the year before. They beat, I believe, UCF
in the Fiesta Bowl. Remember, and Joe Burrow took that big shot.
Yep.
About bit a chunk of his tongue off.
And he never played. I never saw him play a game worse than he played that day. And they still won the game. he was ridiculous.
Against a good Central Florida team.
He was so good in 2019. I mean, seriously. That really is. And I know you can talk about the talent around him. That's one of the better quarterback years we've seen.
Short week, Tua is hurting. I do not mean this as any fault, but isn't Tua always hurting? It's not his fault. He takes. I'm not ripping him at all. It's the opposite. But isn't Tua always?
He's always got
scratched
something.
up.
Now he's got a toe and a knee and a back and he's banged up. This week though, and on the teams they're on currently, kind of similar in the way of weapons they have on the outside for both sides as they were LSU and Bama.
A lot of those guys we named.
Yeah, Jamar Chase there, Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins on the Bengals side, and then the two guys, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. They're like any game the Dolphins play, they're the X factor to me. Like I can't really look at anything else and say this has to happen or the Dolphins cannot win a game. I feel like Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle winning over top, and Tua at least just putting the ball on them will win a whole lot of games for them this year.
I said it that year in 2019 after Ole Miss's game at Bryant-Denny Stadium against Alabama. I said, I don't think this is the best Alabama team ever, which yours proved to not be. 2020 probably was better. I know it was better than 2019, but I did say it was the fastest Alabama team I'd ever seen.
Yeah, I think that's fair. They've had some fast.
That's like saying, a relay team.
That's also saying like way too much because they've had some fast teams.
Really?
But for the Dolphins, I think it's fair, and I think I've already stated this. I stated it after the second week of the season. Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, to me, best 1-2 punch at wide receiver in the entire NFL. Well, they're number 1 and 2 in yards after catch per reception. They are all, I think, Tyreek Hill leads in 30-plus yard receptions.
There's got to be a tight end open somewhere, doesn't it?
And they have Mike Gesicki, who's gotten open. He's had a couple of TDs. But 40-plus yard receptions all are owned by Jalen Waddle. 50-plus yard receptions owned by Jalen Waddle. Eli Apple and Tyreek Hill, though, that's going to be funny to watch because Tyreek Hill called him out after the game that they played last week against the Bills. So that should have some fireworks. I'll say this. Pressure on each quarterback is going to be important. Tua's banged up. You got to make him uncomfortable to help out your secondary if you're the Bengals. And I really hope that the Bengals can keep Joe Burrow upright because that Dolphins pass rush got Josh Allen down 5 times. Emmanuel Ogbah, Raekwon Davis, Christian Wilkins, they found a way to land a lot. And the Bengals, 13 times through the first 2 games of the year, they have struggled. They have struggled mightily getting that offensive line to where it needs to be. It's still not quite there. I think the Dolphins can take advantage of that. But if they are able to neutralize that, Bengals have a chance in this game. Let's go ahead and get to hour number 2, though. Hour number 1 is in the past. We start hour number 2 with our guy from Bally Sports South, Rob Fisher.
So what if summer's coming to a close? It'll be back, and you'll be ready with a new spa. Why's that? Because the world's biggest spa sale is happening right now at Family Leisure. Right now, through October the 2nd, you will get the best ever prices on spas. Family Leisure has a large selection of spas still in stock and ready to ship, and up to 30% off. Yes, 30% off in-stock spas. You want a swim spa? Now's the time to buy with huge discounts just for you. Special financing is available. Plus, you can get free upgrades on select spas. Just ask about it. Family Leisure also has fantastic deals on saunas and massage chairs. So, while summer is coming to a close, you should be opening up to a new spa during the world's biggest spa sale happening right now through October the 2nd at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Summer Sales Event is still going strong at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Get ready to embrace adventure like never before in 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $339 a month or $26,390. Get dramatic performance off-road, on-road, and everyday driving in 2023 Eclipse Cross, $409 a month or $31,085. And breakout and standout in 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 7 seating capacity. We Gossett at $419 a month or $31,605. Plus, peace of mind with our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 4.44 APR, 500 military rebate, 4,900 down. Sport NU 017062, MSRP 27,140. Cross PC 00695, MSRP 31,585. Outlander NZO 84,348, MSRP 32,105. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/1/22 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert. For the best quality air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choate's will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choate's, and remember, let our family serve your family.
Step up your wings game at East Coast Wings and Grill. With 60 wing flavors and 7 heat indexes, do you have what it takes to turn the heat on your wings up to insanity? East Coast Wings and Grill is family friendly with a large variety menu to satisfy the whole bunch. Sign up today for their loyalty program and taste the rewards. For every $1 you spend, you collect a point. Earn 100 points and receive a $5 reward. Next to Lowe's off Highway 64 in Bartlett, come try America's best wings at East Coast Wings and Grill.
Like, I don't know. Can you just pick something and order? Yeah, but anyway, where are you at? You don't look...
It only takes 2 seconds of distracted driving to become a statistic. You can lose your driving privileges, your vehicle, face jail time, or even lose or take a life. Slow down, Memphis. The life you save may be your own. Brought to you by the Memphis Police Department, Traffic Operations.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Bon appetit.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Hour 2 is here. Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe. He's Stats. Brian Degas, of course, in the Family Leisure Studios with me, producing the program. And joining us, we're not going to waste any time. We bring on Rob Fisher. You know him, Bally Sports Southeast, covering the Grizzlies, sideline reporter at The Fish Nation on Twitter. Rob, how are you?
Did you know there's a game Saturday?
Yes, the Grizzlies play. They play a home game Monday, Rob.
When did they decide all this?
You know, we have a 5 a.m. NBA game tomorrow too.
I'm live tweeting it tomorrow morning.
Oh well, you're one of us that'll be doing that.
Rock on,
Rob Fisher. Are you ready? Great. Are you ready for year 16 with Bally Sports Grizzlies? And excellent work. And 16 years in town. I say it to you privately and publicly. The town's better for Rob Fisher.
Well, thank you.
With Rob Fisher in it.
Thank you. Today is my 20th anniversary of my move to Memphis. I moved here 20 years ago today. It was a Sunday, and I remember I didn't have cable, but I had a TV, but I could get Channel 3, and I got to watch the great George Lapidus on my first night in Memphis and watch his Sunday night sportscast. And, 20 years ago today. But, 16 with the Grizzlies, looking forward to it. I'm ready. I got ready after that hype video from Glorilla.
Shout out
for this season.
Are you familiar with Glorilla's work, though? That's the important part.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
I mean, I know she's got a new hit out there with Cardi B. I know that.
Yeah.
That just dropped. I think that's how you say it. But but
you're in
that
mid-season
video got me
form.
fired. That video got me fired up, and just being around the team this week got me fired up again. So I'm ready to go. Absolutely.
Rob, what is the biggest question that has to be answered in preseason for this Memphis Grizzlies 22-23 team?
Well, I think it's the obvious one is who's going to start in Jaren's spot when the season starts. I think that's going to have to be figured out. My guess is Santi Aldama will be given an opportunity to be that guy. And, everybody on media day, it was incredible. I mean, it was the same theme about, who's really shown out this year, who's really done this off season. And everybody kept pointing to Santi Aldama. And that's great news because he's probably going to be given a shot to be the guy that's starting at the 4 until Jaren comes back. So hopefully that can be figured out. I think what we've seen from Taylor Jenkins, because you only play 5 preseason games now, is, what he'll run out there Saturday is probably, at least at this point, your starting 5, I would guess, unless anyone needs to take a night off because of camp and maybe rest something up. But to my knowledge, there's nobody that's dealing with anything going into Saturday's game. So that's good news. And so I think we'll get a good look. Now, does that mean that's going to be the starting lineup opening night? I would say no. I think Santi's going to have to earn it.
Yeah.
But while I say he's going to have to earn it, someone's also going to have to take it away. And who are those candidates? Are the candidates a couple of rookies? Well, hopefully Santi can win that battle. Is Brandon Clark involved in the mix? I don't know. I think that's the most interesting thing going on, and it's the thing that's most important with this team because their next man up mentality worked to perfection last year. No matter who was out, they were able to step up and get the job done. And right off the bat this year, that's going to have to be the case.
And I'm not trying to down Santi when I ask this question, but how likely do you think sort of replacing Jaren's going to be sort of a committee-based thing? Because you listen to the opening presser of Media Day, and how many names got brought up? Like 10? Dylan Brooks got brought up, Laravia, Roddy, everybody got brought up as a potential replacement for Jaren.
Yeah, well, I think it's going to have to be by committee. Maybe early in the season, it's a matter of mixing and matching of on certain nights do you play small, on certain nights do you try to play a little bit bigger, and maybe that's a factor on who you start or who you don't start. I think it's a fluid situation, and I think it might be throughout camp. And it's just something that you're going to have to figure out. And hopefully, Santi being in the system, Santi getting a lot of work this summer. Will pay off, and hopefully he can take advantage of the opportunity. I mean, it's important. The one thing I think that's so important this year that we kind of overlook is Dylan Brooks being healthy going into the season. That makes a huge difference for this team. So when you got Ja, Dylan, Dez, who you hope's going to shoot even more this year, you kind of got you guys. Santi doesn't have to do too much.
Right.
You got guys who can do the big load. He doesn't have to do too much. He's got to be smart. Just cutting to the basket, getting easy baskets from Steven Adams. He's got to stand out there and be ready to shoot. If the ball comes his way and he's wide open from 3, he's got to let it fly. He's just got to knock down some shots. What he does with the hustle looks like an all-star. Well, it doesn't look that way when he's with the big team. So, how much does he grow this year as an NBA player is something that's going to be interesting to see.
Rob, as cruel as last year ended, and it was a couple of days that I came in here still spitting mad. It was almost like the closing scene of Trading Places. Reopen those markets. Play that series again. Get back out there. It's not over. We refuse to believe it's over. For as cruel as it ended that way and what possibly could have been attained, I still think, I'm big, and we talk, I'm big on scar tissue and the evolution of things and taking a step. next spring and maybe even spring 24, we're going to look back at all this as it was necessary, almost like Georgia was okay with only beating Kent State by 17 last week.
No doubt. You got to put these experiences to good use, and I think they have. I think after making the playoffs, fighting their way into the playoffs through the play-in, and then playing the Utah Jazz and winning a game on the road, and going through that experience of 5 games, I thought that was a big key going into last year. How would they take that
and the
experience
bubble.
And the bubble, right? How do you take those experiences and use them to your advantage going forward? I think what they did last year was really took advantage of the idea of regular season games do matter, and we've got to kind of bring it every night, and we've got to battle for position to, get as high of a seed as we can so we can have home court advantage. And those games matter when the standings come to a close. And I think they really did that last year and took that to heart. I hope what they take out of last year's playoff experiences, how do we go through a season, the rigors of a season, and still be healthy come playoff time? We can't condition our body to play 82 games anymore. We're going to have to play upwards of 100. So how do we make that adjustment? What do we have to do to our bodies to make sure come postseason time we're not all banged up? I mean, everybody was banged up last year, and I think that came back to bite them. So, I think that's something that you take from last season's playoff of what it takes mentally and physically to go a long way in the postseason, and hopefully that's something that they adjust to this year.
So I know we're removed from schedule release date, but you always do the best notes. There's no question about it. Everyone knows it. Fantastic.
Yeah, it's my day to shine.
I gotta ask, what do you think about the schedule as a whole? Like when we look at it, sort of start to finish, when you're gonna the idea when you're gonna get Jaren back. What do you think about sort of how they can manage this schedule, and obviously a lot more national TV games?
It's real busy come March. I mean, the last, what is it, 30, actually, do I have, no, I don't have it right here, but I think it's like the last 47 days, there are like 30 games. I mean, that's a lot of games in a short amount of time. So, again, I think it comes to how can we mentally and physically get through that portion of the schedule going into the postseason and being stronger at the end. This team was obviously a lot stronger at the end last year after starting off. They were a 500 team, under 500 after 19 games. And you might say 19 is not that many. That's a quarter of the season.
Right.
So to see what they did the rest of the way, they did get stronger as the year went on. This year, I think you kind of hope for the same thing. You hate saying let's get through Jaren being out, but let's get through Jaren being out. You don't have to be one of the top 2 teams in the league with Jaren out, but you need to be a 500 team. You need to be better than a 500 team. If your expectations are to be a top 4 team in your conference,
right,
you better be an over 500 team while he's out. And then hope he comes back and he can integrate himself in very quickly, and this team just gets better as the year goes on. It's about health. Like it is with everybody in the NBA, it's about being healthy, and the Grizzlies are starting a little behind the 8 ball with Jaren being out. But from all indication, it doesn't seem like he's going to be out very long, and he seems like he's close to returning. So hopefully, even on that time frame, hope it's the earlier part of that time frame. And if that's the case, man, you give me Jaren healthy the rest of the year. You give me Ja 70 games. You give me 70 from Dylan Brooks and 70 from Desmond Van. I like our chances.
Right.
You didn't get that last year from this team, and I think that's key for them.
Rob Fisher, our guest from Valley Sports Southeast, Grind City Media, and the Memphis Grizzlies. And, Rob, nobody in this town knows, really, from day one, the history of the Grizzlies better than you. The 21st century on the sports scene in Memphis better than you. Tiger basketball in that time, you dubbed it Hoop City. This week felt like a big albatross off the town. And with I'm being told by Grizzlies officials they're telling vendors expect biggest October, November crowds any day of the week. Monday nights, going up against Monday Night Football after the long college football weekend. It feels like this is peak Hoop City.
Memphis. I mean, it's it's weird, man. And we've seen it develop, and we've seen Ja become the star that he's become, and this team get the acclaim that they've gotten, last year especially, and now this year with all the national television games that they'll have. What struck me again, and it's funny because I say it to people and they just kind of look at me like, well, yeah, but it still is kind of crazy to me. I was at the NBA broadcast meetings last week in New York, and every highlight film they ran, every graphic that just had pictures, or when they were talking about trading cards and things on the internet on NBA.com, everything they showed up on the projection screen, the Memphis Grizzlies were involved.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that was kind of a wake up moment of, man, I mean, not only are we kind of a fun team for basketball fans and the basketball media kind of jumping in, the NBA recognizing the Grizzlies as
we've arrived,
one of the elite teams in all of the NBA, with one of the elite superstars of all of the NBA. It was incredible. It's incredible how much the Grizzlies were visible during those meetings, and these are league meetings. And it's quite remarkable to me. It's different. It's an amazing time right now. Yeah. And, you have a team that, has a star that we've never seen before, who is just so likable, and other players around him that are just so likable. I mean, we love our guys, and our guys are really good. It's special. And I think, going into this year, that's what's different than last year. Last year, your hope and your expectation was, well, maybe we can get up to about 6. And, and then when you blew by that, everything was kind of house money. And, man, they took that house money and forced us into saying that they were contenders last year. So to now go into a season where you legitimately go into a year being a contender, that's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of expectation. But the best thing about this team, I think their response would be, bring it on. Let's do it. Let's right. Go do it. And I think that's what's exciting about this team is, hey, they still think having expectations, they're still being overlooked. And they'll play that to their, to that chip on their shoulder that they always play with. But, yeah, I think it's a bring it on sort of attitude. And these guys definitely have that sort of mindset.
It's really cool too. And it doesn't get talked about in the same way, but the front office, the thought process they have for the Grizzlies behind trying to find guys that can embrace the culture of the city of Memphis, and guys that they're not worried about causing trouble behind the scenes. It feels like there is a absolute effort to make sure that everything sort of works out, whether it's an off-season addition, draft pick, the whole 9 yards.
We were broadcasting on Media Day, and we had a chance to visit with David Roddy and talk to him, and also Kenneth Lofton Jr. And both of them, it was they walked away, and the first thing that we were talking about was, there's a type. There's a guy. The Grizzlies have identified a type.
Yep.
And that's a type of person, and it's a type of player. Brevin said it and said it wonderfully. He said, we don't draft, you could use a great shooter. We don't draft a guy who's a shooter only.
Yep.
We don't draft a guy who can just guard. We don't draft a guy who's just got good handles. They draft guys who are good basketball players, who can do it. They're not one-dimensional. They can do a little bit of everything. If one thing's not working for them one night, well, they can still make an impact on the game. And they draft guys who are very smart IQ basketball guys. And just listening to these rookies talk, it's the same. It's the same from all of them. They already sound like Taylor Jenkins. And it's incredible. So how are they going to fit in? The thing is, this front office has done a great job of identifying those type of guys. And we've seen those guys have all been able to contribute in one way or another, whether it's a small load or guys who have got an increased load. They've all been able to contribute. So having 4 new players, 5 if you count Lofton, how many of them are NBA ready? How many of them can step on the floor and not hurt you? how many of them can be in your rotation? The important thing is a couple of them are going to have to, because the way basketball is today, not everybody's going to play every game. And then you have injuries to deal with throughout the season. So these guys are going to have to play. These guys are taking John Konchar's old role. These guys are taking Santi Aldama's old role. These guys are taking, those roles, and they're going to fight for DeAnthony Melton's role. And they're going to fight for Kyle Anderson's role. So how many of these guys are ready to play will be interesting to watch through camp as well. But I'm at the point now that, I trust the front office. Are they going to hit 100% of the time? Well, no, nobody does.
Right.
But right now, I trust them that out of these 5 guys, I'm assuming 2 of them are going to be able to play and contribute right away.
Let's span the globe. Couple SEC questions and Cardinal questions. First, SEC.
Yeah.
What's the biggest thing you got right at Media Day, and what surprised you the most in September? And is this really a go-for-it year for our Cardinals?
I think the thing I got right at Media Day is Tennessee, at least the start that they got. Tennessee is my team that I picked and believed to be the second best team in the East. And I think with what we've seen so far from the entire league, that possibly could mean the third best team in all of the league. I think their win at Pittsburgh was big. I think to beat Florida was such a huge monkey off their back that I think that was huge for them as well. Now they got Alabama looming. Is this the year? I don't think so. They got Georgia down the line. Can they score on Georgia? I think they can. Can they win that game? I wouldn't pick them to, but I think they are the third best team in the league. So I feel like I got that right. Which is good. They got the week off this week. They got LSU next week. And then the other one is, I think Kentucky and Ole Miss. I think I'll be right on one of them because I think one of them's the 4th best team in the league. I just don't know which one it is yet.
Yeah.
I don't think I've learned enough about either one of those teams. I guess Kentucky's got the best win of the two.
Something's got to give Saturday.
In the way they did. Yeah, no doubt. And I look at this
my
game,
favorite
like,
setup.
6.5 seems a little too many, but I don't know. I got Ole Miss winning the game Saturday, but I have Kentucky covering. I kind of topped out and decided to give them both a little credit. And then as far as the Cardinals, I don't know about you guys. I watch this team every night. I just don't think they stack up with these teams in the National League. I mean, I'm not confident in them getting out of a first-round wild card matchup, whether it's San Diego, Philadelphia, or Milwaukee.
Yep.
I'm not. I think the pitching right now is a huge question mark. I mean, your best pitcher for the last 2 years, who's 40 years old, has a dead arm. Dead. And Jordan Montgomery hasn't been great the last couple of starts. And Quintana's been amazing, but, I mean, you're going into the postseason probably with Michaelis and Quintana as your 1 and 2 against teams that can throw Snell, Nola, Clevenger, Wheeler, Fried. I mean, the whole Dodgers rotation, Strider. I mean, DeGrom, Scherzer. You look at the pitching, and I think the Cardinals, for what they did since July, which is remarkable. Their record is incredible since the trade deadline. You look at who they played. It was a lot of Washington, a lot of the Cubs, a lot of Pittsburgh, a lot of Cincinnati.
Bunch of Pirates.
They had a 36-game stretch. 36 games where 30 of them were against teams under 500. They feasted. They did what they were supposed to do. I just don't think they're on par with the teams that have.
Well, dang, I didn't want to give the schedule being easy credit. I wanted to give our group chat credit for willing the Cardinals over the line here at the end of the year. My gosh. I think it was our group chat.
Haven't we? We've tried. But,
we did our part,
It's exciting. I mean, Tony La Russa used to say it all the time, and this is back when Tony was brilliant. Tony used to say it all the time. The hardest thing in baseball and the thing that is the best thing to accomplish is to win the division.
Yep.
And when you win the division, it gives you a ticket to the dance. And when you're there, anything can happen. And it can. I mean, look what Albert Pujols has done the second half of the season. The postseason, if you can get the pitching, it's different in baseball now. Can you hit the long ball? Well, you can with Goldie and Arenado and maybe Pujols now. Maybe you throw him in that mix. And if you can get one here from Newt Bar, get one here from, somebody else, there's a chance because you're in it. I just, over the course of a long series, I don't like our chance.
Yeah, I said the same thing yesterday. But of all years, they may get knocked out in the wild card. They may get knocked out in the divisional series. Still, this year has been pretty fun, a little bit magical. I hate using that word. It's kind of corny, but I'm still going to use it with Albert, the MVP race, Goldie and Nolan, Waino and Yachty. I mean, it's been pretty cool to see.
It has, but my concern is you can't go into next season resting on the fun that this year was, because you're wasting another year of Arenado and Goldschmidt. You arguably have the best first baseman in the league. You arguably have the best third baseman in the league, offensively and defensively.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to take advantage of that while you have them both on your roster, and the Cardinals, frankly, haven't.
That's a good point, no question about it. But he is Rob Fisher at
Great
The Fish Nation on Twitter. Rob, always appreciate it, man. Let's do it again soon.
Gentlemen, always a pleasure. We'll see you down at the building coming in soon.
Yes, sir.
You got it.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you, Rob Fisher. Rob Fisher from Valley's Sports Southeast and Grind City Media and the Grizzlies Network. And so fun to catch up with him. And, boy, he nailed it on just about everything. And you said the same thing yesterday about the Cardinals. It's been fun, but next year, where will they go?
Yep.
Brett Norsworthy here for FanDuel. One of the things that I love about betting on the NFL is I'm always finding new players or game props that I just love. And what's cool about FanDuel Sportsbook is you can combine these props with other bets from the same game to score an even bigger payout. Perfect for tonight's game. Perfect for Sunday afternoon and early on Sunday morning with the game in London. Quarterback over rushing yards. That'd be good with Jalen Hurts on Sunday afternoon. Running back anytime touchdown. Opposing quarterback to throw a touchdown or an interception. Same game parlay, just one of the reasons I love betting with FanDuel. Also love it. It's easy to register, easy to deposit, easy to find your bet. And on Sunday afternoon, Trevor Lawrence and the Jags. I like him to have a big throwing and rushing day. There's no feeling like nailing a same-game parlay bet, so lock in your bet today on FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers get up to $1,000 back in free bets if your first bet doesn't win with promo code SPORTS56. That's promo code SPORTS56. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable free bets that expire 14 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line at 1-800-889-9789.
Now, I know our group chat got us over the hump with the Cardinals, and they had a great job after the trade deadline. Right around SEC Media Days, once we started that thing.
Got it going.
Fantastic. But I have to say, we are single-handedly the worst in that group chat. We are so bad.
What do you mean? Best fans in baseball.
I guess so, but we are.
Mean that?
We are the best fans in baseball, but the worst group chat ever, huh?
Oh, it's a haughty bunch, especially in good times.
Yeah.
That's fandom, though, isn't it?
We did miss you didn't get to do your magic number 1, right? You didn't get to do it because it was
the new math.
Yeah, they beat them because they.
Yeah, it would have been Osborne Earl Smith. You know that.
Yeah, I got you. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, have some college football Week 5 matchups to get to. We're going to highlight Tigers versus Temple and then get on to some other ones. We'll do that on the other side on Sportstime with Gabe and Stats.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura MDX. It's the most advanced SUV Acura has ever built. Experience the convenience of full connectivity, including built-in Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless charging, from the stunning interior complete with third-row seating. Stop by our state-of-the-art facility and take advantage of our aggressive APR offers today at Ridgeway and 385. Or shop online from the convenience of home now. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
I'm Kelly Erb with Mark Spensdorf Realtors, and I just had to ask, Sheldon, did you really just buy a set of golf clubs and you never tried them out?
Yep, that's right.
And Sheldon, didn't you tell me whenever you buy a car, you never test drive it?
Again? Yep.
Don't you think that's pretty bizarre since you always tell people to talk to 2 or 3 agents when they sell their home?
Yes, it is. I'm Sheldon Rosengarten, and I'm also with Marks Bensdorf Realtors with Kelly. It's funny, we tell people that you should always talk to more than one agent to find out not only what they think about your home, but more importantly, what they will do for you. And you really need to make sure and include us in the interview process.
I agree, because how are you going to find out about our strategic marketing program with the Shellbucks option? And as people often say, when you want the job done, call Sheldon.
That's Sheldon Rosengarten and Kelly Erb. Call or email us at memphisrelocate.com or 682-1868. Do it now, 682-1868 or memphisrelocate.com.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, Orco hard coolers, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps, fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back. If your first bet doesn't win, just sign up with the promo code WIN. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. So sign up today with promo code WIN for your no-sweat first bet. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Must be present in state where lawful to wager. 21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit fanduel.com/RG. Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. Arizona 1-800-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Indiana, Kansas 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. Louisiana 1-877-770-STOP. New York 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789. Wyoming, West Virginia 1-800-522-4700 or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net.
The Gossett Mitsubishi Summer Sales event is still going strong at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Get ready to embrace adventure like never before in 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $339 a month or $26,390. Get dramatic performance off-road, on-road, and everyday driving in 2023 Eclipse Cross, $409 a month or $31,085. And breakout and standout in 2022 Mitsubishi Outlander with 7 seating capacity. We Gossett at $419 a month or $31,605. Plus, peace of mind with our stellar 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 4.44 APR, 500 military rebate, 4,900 down. Sport NU 017062, MSRP 27,140. Cross PC 000695, MSRP 31,585. Outlander NZO 84,348, MSRP 32,105. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/1/22 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South sports station.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Oh, nothing but the best.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Tell the money
Second hour of Sports Time is brought to you by our good friends at the Big Grain Egg. And I always talk about your best ability being your availability, whether that's in sports. I mean, you look at Tua Tagovailoa. I think he's learned that lesson. Also, and he'll be playing tonight, but you also need to have that grill available to you year-round, 24/7, 365. And the Big Green Egg has done a masterful job of making sure that is the case. It is the last grill you'll ever have to buy. 2 reasons that is the case. Highest quality ceramic on the market, so it will not rust. Also, they've had a warranty on all ceramic parts since 1995. You have one that goes malfunct or breaks, you send it into them. They send you one back free of charge. You get it attached. You get moving. It's that simple. 100% natural lumpwood charcoal grill, so the flavor is going to be fantastic, better than that on a gas grill. And you can smoke, bake, roast, sear, and grill. Whatever you want to do on that Big Green Egg, it will handle it for you. It comes in 7 different sizes, all, again, with that lifetime warranty. They really do have a size and a price point for everyone. If you want a certain size, they will take care of you with that. And if you want to find it around the area, it's at these retailers: Garden Spas and Pool, Germantown Hardware, Hamilton's Fireplace and Grills, and both the Aces in Memphis, East Memphis Ace and Cordova Ace Hardware. So if you're looking for a do-it-all, reliable, long-lasting grill at a great price point, look no further than our good friends at the Big Green Egg. Now, Tigers versus Temple this weekend in Liberty Stadium.
Big favorites.
Big favorites, 19.5. I think that's a pretty big number. We'll talk about that in our Friday football forecast, though.
Oh, Temple some, don't we?
Last year, 34-31 at their place, disgusting loss. And DeJuan Mathis just sort of picked, dinked, and dunked the entire way down the field. Now, Temple this year, 2-2, wins against Lafayette and UMass. They haven't really played a whole lot.
Row.
And they got beat pretty badly by Duke. They played pretty good against Rutgers, but Rutgers is not a very good team. But I guess there's some good and some bad news when it comes to the quarterback situation for Temple. DeJuan Mathis no longer there. He had 330 last year with 3 TDs and no interceptions. He was really good last year. And kind of interesting to see how far he's come. I'll mention what Temple's doing with him this week. But Kurt Warner's son, E.J. Warner, is going to be the starting quarterback at Temple this week. That's a little weird for me, even.
That one's got to even make you feel a little old.
It's wild. It's wild.
It is.
I was old enough to remember the Greatest Show on Turf. I was around, right? That's
his
bizarre.
dad. Is that the story of all time? Survivor story, staying with it.
Yep, bagging groceries at one point
to Canton.
Yep, and he's done a good job for himself.
And his moments with the Arizona Cardinals.
Yep,
that's their finest hour.
It is, really. It is. I can't think of another one. They were right.
I thought
on the
they had them.
They were
I
right
thought they
there.
had the Steelers.
That was Santonio Holmes and the wild catch in the corner of the end zone. What a ball!
That
what a
throw,
catch.
that catch.
Yeah.
And when he was parallel.
Mm-hmm. But E.J. Warner, Kurt Warner's son, has the passing game sort of moving in the right direction compared to DeJuan Mathis. I know that we're getting sort of to the end of the career here with DeJuan Mathis, and he was a big 4-star, 5-star guy coming out of Georgia, and he's the starter. He was a starter.
Opening day of 2020.
It was 2020 or 2019.
COVID. It's opening day of COVID at Fayetteville.
He was the starter for Georgia, and we saw that it ended pretty badly very quickly. And I don't think he was a starter come game 2, was he?
How does that happen? How does he get that recruited? That can't miss.
Also, I don't know how you get out of camp, break camp, and he's your starter, and then 2 games in you replace him. Sort of what happened with A&M with Haynes King and Max Johnson. Like, I get that, but like that's
did y'all not have practice? I mean, what were y'all watching?
There's 2.
That's no rookie staff either.
The way I see it, there's 2 different things that could have happened. One's honest, where it's like, okay, maybe he was great in camp. He got under the lights. He was terrible, and he froze up. The other one is preferential treatment. And I feel like that happens more often than not.
I thought that happened to T.J. Finley. I thought T.J. Finley probably always had that and was always bigger than everybody else at every level of ball.
But get this, I was reading some stuff, a report out of Temple. Apparently, DeJuan Mathis is taking reps at wide receiver now at Temple. They have given up on the quarterback thing with him. They have now decided that they're going to try to make him play outside receiver. And he's got the body for it. He's athletic enough, but that is wild
It really is.
That's crazy to me. Now, Temple, this is going to be an interesting game because they're top 5 in pass defense. On paper, they look pretty good. They haven't faced anything like the Tigers, though. I mean, the Rutgers, Duke are not teams that are going to air it out a whole lot, but only giving up 137.5 yards per game through the air. So the Tigers are going to have to find a way to get this run game going to a certain extent to at least sort of pace the game the right way.
Bright and early Saturday morning. I think early plays into the home field advantage. I think, and I really think it does with the time zone thing that Temple's having to do and Kentucky, and both having to go early. But at least Temple won't have to travel to the site like Kentucky will, coming from Tupelo to Oxford. That's even hard on game day with the highway patrolman leading the way for you. Where does the opposition team stay for? Is
a lot of different
East
places.
Memphis Marriott?
A bunch of different
East Memphis
places.
Marriott a lot of times?
So East Memphis Marriott used to be the team hotel when I was at the
For
University
you
of Memphis.
guys, okay.
Most of the time, it's the
See, I thought y'all were
it's
on
the
campus.
Hilton. Most of the time, it's the Hilton East Memphis.
Okay.
Where opposing teams stay.
Where are y'all on Friday night now?
They're in the
on campus.
They're in the Holiday Inn on campus. Last I checked.
Yeah.
Which I always like staying at the Holiday Inn on campus a lot better. It's nicer, closer, easier drive right down the street. Don't have to avoid Poplar on the way in when you're at the Marriott. I mean, the Marriott was
that,
I like
and
the
that
Marriott.
hotel
I don't wanna down the
management
Marriott.
specialty they have in the degree plan. It's knocking it out of the park.
Best fried chicken too. Oh my gosh, I can't believe the food they serve at that Holiday Inn on campus. It's so good. Just, you gave me a little throwback.
All you can eat? Could you have all you wanted?
Oh yeah. Buffet style. You've seen
No limit.
Yeah, you've seen the pregame meals. You know how that goes. But
Well, we used to get to participate in it, but
not anymore. My buddy,
first year you freeze. That was the end of us eating with the team.
My buddy Robbie texts in, former tight end at the University of Memphis, and I reminded him of the fried chicken that they had. He said, "Oh my God, so good!" Yes, it's fantastic there. But for the Tigers last year in this game, lost 34-31, worst loss in my opinion in a lot of ways of the year. Couldn't get off the field. You just could. DeJuan Mathis dinked and dunked them to death. They were 8 for 18 on third down, 3 for 5 on fourth down. You can't let Temple this year throw the ball that easy and run offense on you that easy.
And that's saying something. Kind of most excruciating loss of last year, because that was a haunted house of losses.
Yes, the UTSA was tough, but at least UTSA was a good team. Temple's not a good team.
Yeah,
Temple was not a good team. And there are games that are always sneaky on a schedule, and I remember being at the University of Memphis, being there, dealing with Temple year in, year out. Now, granted, they had Matt Rule, they had Jeff Collins, they had different coaches in there that were solid. But even when Temple was on the come up with Matt Rule, when they were 3-9 still and 5-7, they always were tough. Some of those recruits they pull out of the Northeast are actually pretty good under the radar guys, and they play tough. It's always a tough game. Temple, though, they're going to have to throw the ball because offensively they have been awful running the ball. They are 121st out of 131 in rush yards per game.
Do you try to rush them or cover them?
I think you try to do both. And here the thing for the Tigers is, I don't know how much emphasis, and obviously you put emphasis on stopping the run every single game, but I don't know if this is a game where you need to load the box and try to bring a whole bunch of exotic run blitzes and that type of thing. You need to worry about the pass game. Everything in the secondary and getting after the quarterback needs to be emphasized, because Temple just even with normal boxes this year has not been able to run the ball. But overall, this game shouldn't be scary. It just shouldn't. It shouldn't. It should be your 4th win in a row. You're 19.5.
Put it away early, play a lot of people, enjoy Tiger Lane post game.
Not a good Temple team, and I think most people believe this. And I think the Tigers, their first conference game of the year on the road at Navy, passed the test. You passed it. You looked up for that game. You looked happy. You looked better than you have all year. Best game of the year.
It was business taken care of.
A convincing conference win would mean a lot going into at home versus Houston next week. A lot.
It really would, and I think the air of good feeling that we're on, that would help push ticket sales. In fact, that's where I'm going to go with my Google style. Gould Salon and Spa, they've been turning heads since 1932, and the perfect gift, the perfect color, the perfect size, the perfect touch. You can get that gift card at GouldSalonSpa.com. Mr. Sam Gould, he had a dream to provide his clientele with a truly professional and unique fashion experience, and it's been realized. Sons, grandsons, granddaughters, valuable associates, from a small hair salon to today's juggernaut. Upscale ambiance, chic style that once was considered a Hollywood luxury. We have it now in all these great locations, one nearby, very close to you, whether it's downtown or out east. All the different locations, you're never far from a Gould Salon and Spa. That gift card, again, go to GouldSalonSpa.com for the perfect size, the perfect color, the perfect holiday touch. I know people already are putting together, what are we going to do for the holiday season? That's where you go. Go to GouldSalonSpa.com. 90 years of distinction, exclusive to our area. The best holiday gift for any season is a Gould's gift card. And Gabe, mine is that air of good feeling. We're talking about it with Rob, and you can feel it with the NCAA relief from them, with the Grizzlies, with area college football. I'm in the sports business. I'm in the good news business, and we have a lot of it around here.
Yep.
And that's my Gould style for this week, is this good feeling that we have, and to stay on this good roll, because it's a mean world out there. We know that, and we're your kind of your escape. And that's why we try to be in a good mood, but tell it like it is. And I can tell it like it is. There's a lot of good things going on.
Mm-hmm. In September 27th, getting out of that IARP case for the Memphis basketball program.
R.I.P. IARP.
Gosh, that could be easily my Gould style this week. My Gould style is going to go, believe it or not, to the home run races, the home run drama we've had in the MLB. It's been fun to see. Aaron Judge gets to 61. He can get over the hump, 62, break the AL single-season home run record. He can do it in the last 7 games. Albert Pujols with 700 home runs, the 4th to ever do it. We talk about a year in the MLB that we didn't think we'd have. And to get to the end and have a little bit of sort of drama, a little bit of fun, some historical numbers being reached, it's really cool to see. And I have appreciated this Major League Baseball season more than I have in the past because of how it started. I have to say that much. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of hour number 2. And when we come back, we have a little bit more college football to talk about. We'll sort of preview, talk about Kentucky versus Ole Miss, Alabama versus Arkansas, and we're going to get to a couple more on the other side on Sportstime with Gabe and Stats.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Hi, this is Lauren Choate with Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing. Choate's is offering some amazing specials for this month only. If you're considering upgrading your furnace before the cold weather comes, Choate's is offering $1,000 off a new Carrier furnace. If you don't need a new furnace, Choate's is now offering its early bird $60 furnace tune-up. This 22-point tune-up includes a free carbon monoxide test and heat exchanger inspection. And Choate's is your indoor air quality expert. For the best quality air for you and your family, it's recommended to have your air ducts cleaned every 8 years. This month only, Choate's will install a free UV light system when you get your air ducts cleaned, a $500 value. Call us at 347-8086 to take advantage of these amazing deals. So, turn to the experts with Choate's, and remember, let our family serve your family.
In the alley since 1948, the world-famous Rendezvous. John, it's so good to see everything kind of getting back to normal.
Brett, we've done a lot of ads before, but maybe it's time for me to do a recap. We have valet parking at the end of our alley on Monroe. On Fridays and Saturdays, we give away our wonderful red beans and rice until it runs out. And you know we like to do things local. Miss Barbara Jackson of O Taste and See has been making these wonderful chess and pecan pies, that's pecan, not pecan, and key lime pies for dessert. And we just started serving this wonderful gelato from Sweet Magnolia Gelato Company. And just to remind everybody, you don't eat cheese and sausage with a knife and fork. You take a cracker, you put the sausage on it, you put a piece of cheese on it, a little mustard or a little sauce, take a bite and chase it with the pickle. Brett, we've always been the place for all gatherings, whether they're corporate, rehearsal dinners, retirement parties, birthday parties, whatever. We seat anywhere from 20 people to 250 people. And oh, by the way, we are now open for lunch from 11 o'clock on Tuesday through Saturday. Come see us at the Rendezvous.
Hey, Jeff Allen, it's a great day to be happy in a new Kia from Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah. What you got going on?
Randy, we'd love to make you happy with the all-new 2023 Kia Seltos LX all-wheel drive. Just $257 per month for 36-month lease and only $29.99 due at signing. Or how about a 2023 Kia Sportage LX front-wheel drive, $287 per month for 36-month lease, $34.99 due at signing.
That's what I'm talking about, Jeff. You got me happy.
And listen, Randy, if you don't see what you want, no problem. We will order exactly the perfect ride for you, and you choose your own bells and whistles.
Plus, equipped with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com. $650 acquisition fee, $30,000 per year, 20 cents excess mileage, 0 security deposit. Seltos P738 6423, MSRP 25325. Sportage P709 8842, MSRP 27955. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Kia. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/1/2022. Dealer stock only.
Attention sports fans. Your favorite sportsbook, BetUS.com, is back for our 28th year of NFL action. With the industry's biggest sign-up bonus of up to 200%, BetUS offers our members the opportunity to cash in on all your favorite leagues, including NFL, NBA, MLB, and more. We've also got hundreds of new casino games, including the coolest European slots, and our live dealers are waiting for you with the tables. You need a sportsbook with integrity, longevity, and you need to know you're gonna get paid. You need a sportsbook that offers everything, including live betting, MMA, golf, horses, esports, and all kinds of crazy bets. Call today at 1-800-79-BET-US. That's 1-800-79-BET-US, and they will walk you through setting up an account. Nobody in the industry gives better bonuses than BetUS. Join now. Mention BetUS 2022, and you can get up to 200% in bonuses on your first deposit. Nobody beats that. Head to BetUS.com and join today. That's BetUS, where the game begins.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by the Big Green Egg.
Dad, come on, you're going to fall in the barbecue.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Back in. Final segment of hour number 2 on Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe. He stats a couple of texts here on the listener line, 901-360-8255 on the Tigers. Someone says, as far as the Tigers, it's still a lineman issue. Not good enough and not deep enough. Still think they get the win this weekend. Somebody says the Tiger attendance will be about 28K. We'll see what's in there.
Okay, that's an improvement over last week.
Hopefully it gets up there. Someone says, I think the Tigers will eke out a close one Saturday. They don't come near covering 19.5. And as far as people are giving a lot of attendance numbers, they say 27,435. Very specific on their
Give me Powerball numbers.
Yeah, seriously. Someone else comes in. They say 31-24 Tigers win on Saturday. It'll be 11 a.m. on ESPNU. They get the ESPNU, not the ESPN Plus assignment this week.
What time will you hit Tiger Lane Saturday morning?
That's what I've been deciding. I think realistically, dealing with
Taylor,
open
at 7 a.m.
Dealing with Taylor, I think probably about 9 is realistic. 9's
no,
realistic.
that's
fair.
That's
fair. But it's not first game of the year, so you know.
Would you ever be brave enough to turn me on a transistor radio at 9 o'clock from Tiger Lane Saturday morning?
Oh yeah, of course.
No,
every time
your radio would get crushed. Somebody crushed your radio.
I caught your This Day in Ole Miss history last week when I was in the car.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, I got to catch that. So hey, I would do it. It's supporting a friend. All right, it's not about
thank you.
Nobody go crazy on me. All right, supporting a friend. Now, as far as these other matchups this week on the docket, Kentucky Ole Miss. There it is. 11 a.m. ESPN. I'm really kind of angry with the fact that this is kind of the post game day game where it's like, this is just a warm up, when in reality it's a top 15
out to the
matchup.
Stadium after the helmet routine.
When in reality it's a top 15 matchup that needs to be more of a it needs to be highlighted a whole lot more.
But the Clemson NC State deserve game day.
No, I'm not mad at that. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like the fact that this is the 11 a.m. Sort of. It's the same slot that Georgia and South Carolina was in a couple weeks ago, right? Like that's the thing that gets me.
Yeah, I don't know that the SEC can take on Big Noon.
Really?
They've carved a really good niche there.
They have. I like.
It's Big 11 for us, but it's Big
honesty,
Noon for most of the country.
Here's honesty. I like their panel. I like the football talk that comes out of Big Noon Saturday. I just do. Gabe,
I've got when I can get in front of Saturday morning early TV. I can't this week. I've got the back channel, the go back channel, and I have it to where either Urban Meyer or Kirk Herbstreit's talking all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Whichever one's talking on that channel, I stop on.
But also, ESPN's done a couple of hires, and I have one in particular I have to bring up before we actually talk about this game. And I know you won't give him a whole lot of credit, but I think Dan Mullen's pretty good. I think Dan Mullen's really good.
Oh, I've said it. Dang, Dan Mullen, he's really good on TV.
He's really good on TV. I don't know if
I really like listening to him,
but he's good.
Dadgummit.
He's really good. All right, now
he has to pop up somewhere next year in the job, doesn't he?
You would think.
He's too good of a coach,
and I
know he can coach.
OC maybe too. Like I don't know. I would think a head coach job somewhere, but I wonder if he'd surface as an OC for a. You think there's a possibility there, or do you think he'll get a head coaching job?
I think head coach.
Yeah, I think so too, but. At the very least, I guess I'm saying. Or do you think that
Tyson Hilton at Western Kentucky, I think, should be on some lists.
Do you think being OC somewhere would be sort of under him? Do you think he feels that way, Dan Maybe a little bit.
I just think he's a head coach.
Yeah. Now Kentucky, Ole Miss 7-point favorites. What are your early at home 11 a.m. What are your early feelings about this game? And I understand there's probably a fair amount of unknown.
On Kentucky and Ole Miss?
Yes. A fair amount of unknown on Ole Miss and sort of playing Kentucky. Kentucky's a top 50 rush defense. It's going to be a lot harder to run on them.
Tell me, I'm going to break it down to one simple
thing.
Tell me which team protects their quarterback the best. Which quarterback has the cleanest uniform at 215?
I would think Jackson Dart. Will Levis. But here's the thing about Will Levis. Will Levis I've seen get knocked down a whole lot this year. He got smacked in that Florida game. He gets up.
Pops
He's a tough
up.
guy. Now, I get that those are negative havoc plays, and I understand how that could affect the game. But Ole Miss, I think, is going to have to get more in the passing game out of Jackson Dart. They're just going to have to because I don't think they're going to be able to run the ball the same. Now, that doesn't mean I think that Kentucky and their rush defense is going to be unbelievably –
It's a great matchup.
Unbelievably stout. Like, I think they'll be stout enough to – I mean, Ole Miss is still going to get their yards on the ground. But Jackson Dart's going to have to pick up the rest of the slack. It's not going to be 300 yards, 350 yards running the ball against Kentucky. It just doesn't feel like that's on the tables for them. But that'll do it for hour number 2. And let me send you to a good place for lunch or dinner, and that's Central Barbecue. 4 different locations, Midtown, Downtown, Summer, and then the one on Poplar. And I always talk about the turkey. Get the smoked turkey. It's fantastic. But anything on that menu is great. Pork, chicken, everything. And even vegetarian options. They have a portobello mushroom sandwich for you. Go and get the greens. They're fantastic. But the mac and cheese, the baked beans, all their sides are great. They even have some dessert for you. Go check them out. And as far as catering is concerned, for 15 or more people, call this number, 901-527-9990. If you want to ship it anywhere, eatcbq.com. Ship it during the holidays. That's what I do. Eatcbq.com. Click that shipping tab. You can send it off anywhere in the good old U.S. of A. But those 4 locations are open daily for you for lunch and dinner. Midtown, Central Avenue, downtown by the Civil Rights Museum, Summer. And then the one on Poplar that you can see me at, that I frequent all the time. Central Barbecue Smoke is their house. Hour number 3 is on the way. And we started, as we normally do on a Thursday, with Greg Gaston. He is from Sports 56 Mornings and also from the Tiger Sideline.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
I'm Brian Elder. It's been a particularly rainy season, and that stain on your ceiling isn't getting any smaller, exposing your family to the possibility of mold. Let me come take a look. 867-0303. Our technicians are Owens Corning Platinum Preferred, so don't let someone tell you that it has to be replaced if all you need is a repair to get several more years of life. 867-0303. Have me on your speed dial for when life's little catastrophes come up. 867-0303. Upgrade your roof to a beautiful Owens Corning Duration Architectural Shingle with a 50-year warranty and an unheard of 25-year labor guarantee. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you a competitive estimate right over the phone. Buy now and pay nothing till 2022 with approved credit. 867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Hi, everybody. Greg Gaston for FanDuel. Add a little excitement to your sports watching experience by betting on all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook. There's a reason why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Their app is simple to use. They've got great odds on all different betting markets, unique fun bet types like same-game parlays, and exclusive always-on promotions such as enhanced odds boosts on the biggest events that let you get more action out of every game day. And if you win, they even get you your winnings safely in as little as 24 hours. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started, and be sure to sign up with promo code GASMAN so they know I sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code GASMAN. Must be 21 or over and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit is required. Bonus issued is non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions do apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
Welcome to Triumph Auto Sales, where you'll have a great car buying experience. Triumph Auto Sales is your #1 source of quality pre-owned vehicles ranging from lease returns to new car trades, all at huge savings. Plus, Triumph has a full array of financing options to meet your needs. Find your next car online at triumphautosales.com or stop in today at 4875 Elmore Road. Triumph Auto Sales will help you get the vehicle you want at the price you need and the service you deserve. For a great car and a great experience from a local and family-owned business, visit Triumph Auto Sales.
How do you grow your business without spending more on credit card fees? Call Blake Jones, your local Mid-South Advanced Merchant Services representative. He works with your business to help it grow instantly. Small business owners already have enough cost. Let Blake Jones help you lower your credit card processing cost risk-free. Absolutely no cost to you, the small business owner. Call 662-416-5262. That's 662-416-5262. Call Blake Jones today and start saving money tomorrow.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-555-2085. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-555-2085. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too. For affordable term life, call 800-555-2085.
So what if summer's coming to a close? It'll be back, and you'll be ready with a new spa. Why's that? Because the world's biggest spa sale is happening right now at Family Leisure. Right now, through October the 2nd, you will get the best ever prices on spas. Family Leisure has a large selection of spas still in stock and ready to ship, and up to 30% off. Yes, 30% off in-stock spas. You want a swim spa? Now's the time to buy with huge discounts just for you. Special financing is available. Plus, you can get free upgrades on select spas. Just ask about it. Family Leisure also has fantastic deals on saunas and massage chairs. So, while summer is coming to a close, you should be opening up to a new spa during the world's biggest spa sale happening right now through October the 2nd at Family Leisure, Whitten Road at I-40, where family and fun come together.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
This is a damn fine automobile, if you want my honest opinion.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
There's a set going strong, a lot of things going on.
5 o'clock hour is here. Sports Time with Gabe and Stats. I'm Gabe. He's Stats. And joining us via the phone line is our guy from Sports 56 Mornings and from the Tigers sideline. He is Greg Gaston at Greg_Gaston on Twitter. And he's brought to you by the law offices of Stephen Leffler, Mount Moriah Auto Sales Niels, and Chet Whitsett, Cry Like Realtors. Greg joins us now. Greg, how are you?
Doing well. Good afternoon, Gabe. Good afternoon, Brett.
Absolutely.
And Brian, of course.
Yes, and Brian in the Family Leisure Studios with me. Now, Brett brought this up off the top. I didn't quite want to bring it up. How nervous are you about your Phillies right now? It's coming down to the wire for that last wild card spot.
You guys are going to bring it up, too. I mean, it's bad enough. I got Savoy every morning ripping me because the damn Cubs swept 6 from the Phillies this season. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'm sweating bullets. There's still enough time where the Brewers, remember, the Phillies have the tie break.
Right.
So they have that, which is nice. But what's not nice is they're now tied. So, and there's still plenty of games. There's 5 or 6 games to go. I'm worried, guys. I really am.
Mm-hmm.
Greg, that was ugly on the north side. Cubs playing it like it's the 08 World Series, 1908.
Yeah, but no players on that Cubs team, for goodness sakes. I mean, Patrick Wisdom, the former Memphis Redbird, killing the Phillies. He had an RBI today. I don't know.
The bats are real quiet for the Phillies. Real quiet.
Normally it's the late relief pitching that gives up leads and has come back to haunt the Phillies over the last several years. But now all of a sudden the bats have gone cold. Harper's back, and you have enough sticks in that lineup to not get any runs against the Chicago Cubs team that mailed it in months ago. It's bad right now. I'm just hoping they can figure it out.
Believe it or not, I'm rooting for the Phils. I don't want the Cardinals to have to see the Brewers. The Brewers have a book on the Cardinals at this point. I'd rather have that matchup with the Phillies. Now, granted, I still don't think that it's like written in the stars that the Cardinals can win 2 or 3 against the Phillies, but I think that's the most favorable matchup.
Well, the way the Phillies are playing, I think anybody can beat them right now. But Milwaukee, the thing is with Milwaukee, they both know each other well. The Cards have had success. Milwaukee never scares me. Every year, the Cardinals are. Well, it seems like every year, like the Brewers are picked to win the division, Cardinals second. It's like, come on, Cardinals are picked to win that division every single year. But yeah, so unfortunately, right now I'm sweating bullets.
All right, let's not bury the lead too much. 2 days ago was a ridiculously good day for the University of Memphis basketball program. IARP in the past with nothing. I mean, 4 level 1 allegations the NCAA had levied against them. They seemed to find nothing in the grand scheme of things, and complete vindication for that program and for Penny Hardaway.
It's pretty amazing, Gabe. I have been out and about, and I have been stopped by a number of people, and they come up to me, and they just basically smile and say, "Can you believe that?" And I said, look, nobody in their right mind thought the penalties would be that lenient. And anybody who says that they believe they would not have any scholarships taken away. Penny would not get any games where he couldn't coach, or even as dramatic as a postseason ban, which most people believe that wouldn't happen. But if anybody thought it'd be that lenient, they're lying through their teeth. This was a shocker. It was great news, of course, long-awaited news. They took a chance with this IARP as opposed to going through the old school NCAA. Who knows what would have happened with the guys who first came down on the Memphis Tigers and have had a history against Memphis if they would have ruled differently than the IARP people. And then the IAR people are going away here. So it could not have worked out any better. Penny's out there recruiting the 4-stars and the 5-stars right now after last season, going into this season, using the transfer portal to his advantage. Now he's trying to go back and get those great freshmen, those seniors from high school for their freshman years. And the attitude, I would say, is going to be a lot different when he goes into somebody's home. When those kids talk Memphis, they won't be worried about some big black cloud hanging over the program, because that was pushed aside by this ruling. I am still stunned it was that lenient, but I'm very, very happy for them.
And it feels like a breakout moment for the department, for the university itself, for around town. And, Greg, I say after that examination that the Tigers that they just received from NCAA vis-a-vis IARP to other conferences, that should make them a very attractive choice, because this has been deemed the cleanest program in the country. Because if they had found anything, if they had found, they didn't put a trash bag liner in trash cans, let's give them probation. If they had found anything, they would have thrown the book at them.
Exactly. And look, what is probation? Come on. Everybody seems to be on probation at one time or another, whatever the program may be around the country. And I think this, like I just said, with the recruiting, it certainly helps. If there's just any kind of hesitation from a recruit because you don't know what the future is going to be like for Memphis, if it was a stiff penalty, then maybe they go another way, another direction. Now you feel pretty good that Penny's going to be able to land at least some of these guys. He's going to be the coach. He's not going to be suspended. There's no show calls, even though that wouldn't really make a difference with him at Memphis. But it's still, it's a real positive. And then, looking ahead, we bring this up all the time, and I don't know what's going to happen in the future. And football still is the king, but basketball and having a really good basketball program that can win national championships is still an important part of the criteria to try to get into a bigger conference. And if you had the NCAA sanctions, serious penalties handed out, or the sanctions still over their heads, then you're kind of in the outside looking in. You're just not being talked about as much. If there's any issues in the Memphis athletic department, and right now, even though again it's a probation, it cleans up the situation, I think, for those who may be involved in down the road looking at Memphis. I mean, seriously looking at Memphis for a spot in one of the Power Fives.
The outlook for the program and where the athletic department is now without that black cloud is just great, though. Like, it really is. And I know we've been dealing with this for 2.5 years, and you knew it was going to come to an end at some point. You didn't think it was going to be this easy in the grand scheme, but you come off a year where Penny truly gets that team into the tournament. They win a game. They take the number 1 overall seed to the last second into the second half. Hey, the outlook's great without that black cloud now. Now, for the Tiger football program, 3 wins in a row, going for 4 in a row. 11 a.m. ESPNU against Temple. First, I sort of want your outlook. What have you thought of this 3-game winning streak and how they have won? And last week, not a lot of fans in the crowd. There were certainly some issues on the field as far as the offense was concerned. But what is your full outlook been on these 3 straight wins?
Yeah, you can't really lump it into one thing, because I thought against Arkansas State there were some improvements, certainly with the receivers catching the football and running the ball a little better. This particular game against North Texas, let's be honest, Seth Hennigan had one of his worst games in his young collegiate career. However, did not get any help from the offensive line. They got 2 key injuries. They were breaking down. So I don't know how much of it is his fault. Some of it is certainly his fault, but I think it was a poor performance from the O-line. But the running backs ran the ball better. In fact, they had more rushing yards than they had passing yards. But it was the defense that stepped up and made key plays. They still give up a lot of yards. They still miss some tackles. They're not a complete unit, but they are getting better and better. And anytime you can get 2 pick sixes, you feel pretty good about winning that football game. So we have seen improvements as the season has gone along. You open up with a SEC opponent on their home turf. It's not easy to do. And then you turn around, you have the triple option offensive baby on the road. So you've come back, as you said, they won 3 in a row. They're in a good spot to make it 4 in a row against a Temple team that's pretty good defensively. I didn't understand the 20-point line to open in Vegas.
Right.
That kind of confused me a bit. Memphis has been a double-digit favorite for now a third straight week, and the first 2 weeks they didn't cover. That's not the most important thing unless you're gambling. For Tigers fans, the most important thing is they won those games, and that's the most important thing for the program. So if you could take care of business against Temple on Saturday morning, and I feel like you should, that's 4 straight after the opening loss to Mississippi State as you get ready for Houston on Friday night, national TV game.
Yep.
This will be nationally televised as well against Temple, but that one will be on a Friday night when there's not 100 other college football games going on around the country. And you're in a position you wanted to be, and it's in the position that we all thought they would be, right? 4-1 going into that game against Houston.
Greg, who is the one wide receiver you think that really needs to to get that symmetry going, to be the go-to guy from Seth Hennigan, one he can count on, the bailout guy?
Javon Ivory has to be that guy. Javon Ivory has all the tools to be wide receiver number 1, but right now it's kind of plethora of wide receivers. You have Eddie Lewis doing good things. You have Gabe Rogers stepping up and doing good things. Joe Skates is their deep threat, and he's had some pretty good performances. But as far as a steady Eddie, that guy has to be Javon Ivory. Now, I think or Jaden Ivory, but I think did I say that right? I messed up his name.
Javon.
But it has to be Javon Ivory. But the guy that's really stepping up, that has been the most pleasant surprise, is their tight end, Caden Prescorn. He will not be confused for Sean Dykes as a receiver that can go down the seam and beat you with speed, but he has proven to be a very sure-handed tight end after a tough first game against Mississippi State. Since then, I don't know if he's had a drop, and he has scored a team-best 4 touchdowns.
Yep.
So he's becoming quickly a go-to guy from Hennigan. But Ivory's the answer to that question.
Mm-hmm. But Caden Prescorn has been a very pleasant, and I didn't really take it as a surprise, but for a lot of people it's a surprise. Red zone target, and I think even in the run game and it sort of blocking, it's sort of a throwback to what you had to a certain extent. Obviously, I think he's bigger, but it's a throwback a little bit to Joey Magnifico, maybe a little less in the pass catching department, but he has helped this offense move along early in the season.
That's a great comparison. Magnifico, who came on as a walk-on, one of the long line of Memphis Tigers that had started as walk-ons before earning scholarships and going on to becoming big-time contributors. They have their other tight end, John Hasselback, who's more a blocking tight end, and they have another guy as well who can catch the ball as a third tight end. In fact, Brian has said that he's really, really happy with where the tight ends are. And again, that's saying a lot after losing a stud like Sean Dykes.
Mm-hmm. Who do you in the backfield, when we're talking about this run game, getting it moving, and I think it's it's been different every game. It was Jay Ducker against Mississippi State. It was Jay Ducker in another game. It was Brandon Thomas in this past game against North Texas. Who to you is that guy in that running back room that needs to be more consistent?
Well, I'll say this. I don't think you're going to have that one running back just break through.
Mm-hmm.
They're relying on 3 running backs right now. And those 3 running backs they're all getting just about equal opportunities. Thomas is still their one, but you'll see Ducker in a lot, and then you see Asa Martin in a lot. So to answer your question, I'd love to see Thomas, who again, for a second straight year, begins the season, and right now is still the number 1 running back. I would love to see him get back to that yardage that he was able to roll off before he got injured last year. Early on in the season, probably people remember this guy ran for 191 against Arkansas State when they played in Jonesboro. He had big games. Those games are not there right now for any of these running backs, but they looked a lot better in the North Texas win. And Thomas, I think, would be the easy answer to that. I really enjoyed Ducker. Ducker's a great blocker as well, a little bit under the radar. but he can do really good things. And when he breaks away, it's tough to catch him. And then he's the Martin.
Good pass catcher. Very good pass catcher.
I was just going to say, he's in there for a lot of the pass catching situations. Not a big guy, but an experienced guy who's played forever. And so he brings, even though he's not big, he brings some toughness. So they're going to roll with those three guys, and then Sutton Smith is going to get some totes every once in a while. They'll probably try to keep him to the 4 games, not to lose his red shirt. But that's pretty much it. But I don't know if you're going to have one guy that just breaks out and becomes this 20, 25 carry guy. I don't think we're ever going to see that this season.
Mm-hmm.
Greg, bright and early Saturday morning, what's an early first quarter sign from Seth Hennigan that last week was just a bad game, just a one-game anomaly, or, well, I'm seeing some things that might be developing here that aren't good. What's something we can watch for?
Yeah, I think this is what you need to watch for. And I don't think this is an indictment of Seth Hennigan, but it's an indictment of the O-line if they can't protect him. Remember, this Temple team, it's not a great team, really not a good offense, but their defense is good. They have a lot of guys who get TFLs. They have good secondary, which is mainly because of their front. Their 2 ends, their edges are really, really good. So the sign would be if he's able to stand upright and not be on his back or have to run for his life, I think in that case he will have a huge game. He had a big game throwing the ball last year in Temple. I think he'll bounce back and have that big game. But that offensive line, especially a couple of guys who may get the start, may not get the start, depending on where we are with the injury situation. But we already know they're thin. And, Gabe, I don't have to tell you about that offensive line. Yep. You know. But if they're missing a couple guys, then you're being having to call on some other guys to step up and protect him against a really good Temple defense. This isn't hyperbole. This is a team
always
that
tough.
really is strong defensively and physical, as you know. So that's the sign I'm looking for, Brett. That first quarter, when they got the ball, is he able to stand back there and throw, look off receivers, go through his procession and then progression rather, and then be able to hit the guys that he wants to hit. If not, he's running for his life. You better watch out.
The O-line, the luck the past 2 years has not been very high. I mean, McKylan Poundage finally comes back last week. Austin Myers is out. Then you get another issue with Jonah Gamble, and I don't know how long that's going to last. But it's just having that full group for an entire game the past 2 years has just been like pulling teeth. It just hasn't happened. It's wild to me. Now, as far as the defense,
and Gabe, let me also throw in, not to mention, you lost Dylan Parham to the NFL.
Yeah, that too. Now, as far as the defensive side of the ball, it's been weird. It's been hard to get a grasp on the full identity of what the Tigers are trying to be. And we know that Matt Barnes wants to dial it up a little bit more. He's a little more multiple. I saw more 4-down fronts last week against North Texas. I think they've done a good job of taking away the run game of opponents. But last year in this game, even against DeJuan Mathis, who's been replaced and taking wide receiver reps this week in practice, even against DeJuan Mathis last year, there was sort of that dink and dunk approach, and Temple was able to beat the Tigers doing that. 330 yards, 3 TDs. Do you think the Tigers can tighten that up this year and maybe get a little bit of pressure on the quarterback?
Yeah, I hope they can. That's the game plan, is to get some pressure, because now you're talking about Kurt Warner's son, E.J. Warner, who's going to start. And this guy is a pocket passer, like his dad was. He's not going to take off and run unless under duress. As far as the previous quarterback, Mathis, he was a guy who got out of the situation in Philadelphia last year with his legs.
Yep.
And so they couldn't contain him. They would lose containment with that guy. And he got off to a decent start this year, and then all of a sudden he threw some picks and there were some turnovers, and he got benched as they feel more comfortable with Warner being able to take a hit and still be able to follow through and complete a pass, or at least get the throw off. So they're going in a different route. I think that is a benefit for Memphis, because I think they do better against pocket passers, traditional passers, rather than against the scrambling guys. Now, I know they played Will Rogers, and people say Will Rogers runs only when he has to, but is usually a pocket guy. Yes, but that's Mississippi State with those big offensive linemen and great protection and great receivers. This is not the talent. They're not facing a team with that type of talent. So I think for certain they can get some pressure on them. They haven't shown the ability consistently to get pressure on quarterbacks this year. That has been the one problem that I think has hurt the defense. But the defense has been opportunistic. We saw it last week, forcing turnovers, scoring off turnovers, and I think they're getting better and better as a collective unit. And I think Matt's done a really nice job in the transition. He gets a lot of replacements in the game, moves a lot of linemen in and out, linebackers as well, just to keep them fresh. And I think there's a chance they could do pretty well in this game because, again, Warner is a pocket guy, and that benefits him.
Last thing for you, we started with baseball. Let's end with baseball. We saw Aaron Judge hit his 61st last night. I asked, off the top of the show, I asked sort of what people think about the single-season record with the guys ahead of him, Sammy Sosa, Mark McGwire, Barry Bonds, entrenched in all of the steroid talk. What's your thought on single-season home run record in the MLB?
Yeah, well, look, Aaron Judge says the home run record for a single season is Barry Bonds with 73. I have always said, Eli and I get in this discussion all the time, and we're on the same page, that it was tough when you look back and you said there was a lot of guys who cheated, but both batters and pitchers cheated. It was the era we had, but it was part of baseball. We've had a lot of interesting eras over the years, the dead ball era. The baseball is livened up or it's deadened. We've had
the segregated era.
That was my next thing. I was just going to say we went through baseball where only whites were playing the game. So you know what? I look at it as Bonds has the record. Okay, I don't mind cut-ins into the game to take 2 seconds to show Judge's home run. But the bottom line is this: he's one away from becoming the all-time American League leader for home runs this season, and that's fine. That is a unbelievable mark. It hasn't happened in 61 years since Maris hit the 61 in 61. So I'm fine. I still consider all those guys. They were part of the game, and I still consider some of them should be in the Hall of Fame, despite it being the era of the juiced players and the juiced balls.
Rock on. Well said, Greg. Always appreciate it, man. We'll catch up next week.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week.
Thank you, Greg.
And that is Greg Gasson at Greg_Gasson on Twitter. He's brought to you by Law Office of Stephen Leffler, Mount Moriah Auto Sales, Niels, and also Chet Whitsett, Cry Like Realtors.
Gabe, what college football team out there, we talked about the backup quarterback. Does anybody really have one you could throw in there and you have to put it on him to win a game? Who really has backup offensive linemen? We know the Tigers had some injury there last week. There's some questions there. But who could go to a seventh or eighth offensive lineman?
You need, generally speaking, going into your 8 guys that you can trust. That 8th guy is sort of bordering, generally speaking. I would say around the country, people that do it better consistently are the guys in the Big Ten. I really believe that. Wisconsin. Iowa, probably not as much because Iowa doesn't recruit all that well. I'd say Wisconsin, Ohio State's generally okay. Michigan, very deep all the time. I think Ohio State a little lesser this year. And then the top of the SEC. You got to give credit where credit's due. Alabama,
but the very,
Georgia.
very top. It doesn't go too deep.
No, it doesn't. But I think still Alabama and Georgia at the top of the SEC, yes.
I thought it was critical to Ole Miss's success last year. Started 5 across all year.
What do you think about this year for their depth, Ole Miss? You can't get to 7 or 8, really, and sort of keep that same production. That's a lot. That's most people.
And you got to ask people maybe to do a lot of different things: play left guard, play right guard, maybe some center.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you need to have a swing guy, swing tackle, swing guard, guy who can play the interior.
Almost the pro model. There's no second team in the pros.
That's a fair point, Brett. Because also you can't travel all that many guys. You can travel maybe 10 O linemen. Generally
can't travel them, can't get them reps with the practice limitations either once the season starts.
So once you get past that, and the Tigers, I'm just telling you that they've been, as much as they've struggled, and I think they've struggled even with the starters in, they have been really unlucky. You get a guy back, and then you lose your starting right tackle. Just the fact that last week you finally get McKylan Pounders back. Their starting 5 has been in the game for 15 plays this year. Their starting 5 against
and
Mississippi
you're 3-1.
State, and then McKylan Pounders
pretty good.
goes down, and then he comes back, and Austin Myers is sitting out. It's just been every single game. One gets back, one
never
down.
easy.
It's always
never
tough.
easy.
It's always tough.
This hour of our show brought to you every day by DeSoto Auto Sales. Very proud to serve DeSoto County and the surrounding area. Go online to DeSotoAutoSales.com or visit them at 5704 Goodman Road. all the cars test driven, all checked out thoroughly, bumper to bumper, unlimited inventory, every make, every model. If it's not on the lot, they'll go find it for you. No shortcuts at DeSoto Auto Sales. You walk in and you're treated like family by kind, courteous employees, laid-back atmosphere. And at DeSoto Auto Sales, they care about your time. They want you to enjoy the ultimate car experience. You walk in and within 45 minutes or less, test drive a car, credit-approved, paperwork complete, and you're out of there in your new car. It's a guarantee. They know we live in a world today that time really matters, and they keep it that simple for you, that streamlined and that efficient at DeSoto Auto Sales. Online at DeSotoAutoSales.com at 5704 Goodman Road. Come on down to DeSoto County for that town and country experience at DeSoto Auto Sales.
About 30 minutes left in this Thursday show, and we still have a few things to get to, including Tiger basketball making an announcement about the future of Memphis Madness. And we'll talk about that on the other side right here on Sportstime with Gabe and Stats.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
I often say they've set the bar for the way car business should be done at Homer Skelton Hyundai. You know how close that is. It's right there at Highway 78, Lamar Avenue, and Craft Road, the very first exit in Mississippi. I say it because they always come up with new innovations. And right now, when we've had all these shortages on new cars, Homer Skelton Hyundai is always going to come through for you. You won't pay more than the sticker price for a new car at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's Chris True's pledge. You'll never pay more than sticker price. Those other guys, they could charge you a whole lot more for that new car because they know there's a shortage. That never happens at Homer Skelton Hyundai. That's part of the philosophy and the team that's been together for about 15 years now. You want the best of service? You want the best of products? It's the combination and the trust you'll always get from the best guys around. Homer Skelton Hyundai and Genesis of Olive Branch.
Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat is ready with Power Days deals on Covington Pike. It's time to make all your wishes come true, so come by. Pick out your ride and Gossett will get it ordered just for you. At Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat, you'll get exactly what you want and at the price you want. No hassle, no extra charges, no market adjustments. You will not pay more than MSRP at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Plus, you can take your pick from 22 Jeep Cherokee Latitude 4x4 or 22 Ram 1500 Quad Cab Tradesman 4x2. Now $519 a month. Get it while the getting's great at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat. So drive past the rest and come to the best. Gossett on the Pike or shop online GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
All 75 months at 4.5% APR, 3,500 down. Cherokee ND 522,552, MSRP 38,785. Ram NS 171,35, MSRP 39,745. Includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 10/1/22. Dealer stock only.
Hey, sports fans, this is Ultimate Vegas Insider John Anthony, and I'm on fire. To prove it, I'm releasing your Thursday night report absolutely free on recorded message line. Call 1-800-244-5506. I love tonight's matchup. Miami-Cincinnati is a monster, side and total. Miami-Cincinnati critical information confirmed, plus the weekend early releases. That's 5 big plays. John Anthony has you covered. I love to go 5-0 free on a recorded message line. 1-800-244-5506. Information wins. John Anthony Sports #1 against the spread. Miami-Cincinnati is huge. Call 1-800-244-5506. You want the information? I've got it. Call the recorded message line 1-800-244-5506. 1-800-244-5506 or go to johnanthonysports.com.
Sponsored by JFSR Group.
What do you mean your emergency ribs?
I always have a backup rack.
Just in case.
Exactly, you get it.
No.
I can't always get to Central Barbecue when I have a rib fix.
Like, say, when you're on the air.
You so get me. Imagine I'm on the air, suddenly I have a rib crave. As soon as I go to commercial, I can grab the Central Barbecue backup rack.
And you keep them...
in my briefcase.
That's what's in that briefcase?
That and usually some Central Barbecue slaw. That's pretty much it.
Not, say, show prep?
Nah, I don't want to get sauce on that.
golfers. Now at Edwin Watts Golf Shops, it's time to hit faster, longer, and straighter with Titleist. The new TSR drivers are designed to maximize distance and elevate your performance. Titleist TSR driver, pushing for perfection every day. Come into Edwin Watts Golf Shops for the new Titleist TSR drivers and get custom fit for free today. Can't make it in store? Visit us online at worldwidegolfshops.com. Edwin Watts Golf Shops, home of the 90-day satisfaction guarantee and family owned and operated since 1968.
Ian Eagle here from Thursday Night Football on Westwood One. Coming up from Cincinnati, Joe Burrow and the Bengals take on the perfect 3-0 Dolphins. Last week, Tua Tagovailoa and Miami picked up a big win over the Bills, while the Bengals claimed their first victory of the year at the Jets. Join Hall of Famer Tony Baselli and me for all the action on Thursday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I had a nighttime routine for my frequent heartburn. I would drink milk, I would sleep upright with more pillows, but that painful burning stayed. So I made Prilosec OTC part of my morning routine. With just one pill in the morning, Prilosec OTC prevents excess acid production, blocking heartburn day and night. Now I have a new nighttime routine. I call it sleeping.
One pill, 24 hours, zero heartburn. With Prilosec OTC. It's possible while taking Prilosec OTC. Use as directed for 14 days to treat frequent heartburn, not for immediate relief.
O'Reilly Auto Parts specializes in keeping your car on the road. Not sure how much life is left in your battery? Our professional parts people will test it for free. If it does need to be replaced, we'll help you find just the right one to fit your car. Our Superstart batteries are built to handle even the toughest conditions. Visit O'Reilly Auto Parts today.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Make them drive the car. Make them touch it. Feel it.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
Roll along. Sports Time with Gabe Stats. I'm Gabe, he's Stats. As we approach the weekend, I have a place you need to go, and that is one place, 117 Prime. If you know me, I'll never steer you wrong when it comes to getting a good meal, and that won't change. That's why I'm steering you in the direction of 117 Prime. Sits on 117 Union Avenue, and it is a prime example, no pun intended, of what an American steakhouse should be. Absolutely perfect steaks cooked to your liking over hickory wood for the best flavor in town. Also, don't miss out on the seafood. Oysters, clams, shrimp, lobster, you name it, they have it. It's all fantastic. On top of that, cocktails, desserts, some of the best in town. Opens at 4 p.m. every single day, and they'd love to have you by. To make reservations, two places you can do that. You can go online, 117prime.com. Again, that's 117prime.com. Or call this number, 901-433-9851. Again, 901-433-9851 for 117 Prime. Now, we have had Memphis Madness for as long as Penny Hardaway has been the coach at the University of Memphis. Even before that, no question, even before that. But it's been hyped up a lot since Penny Hardaway has been a part of the program and been the coach, the leader of the program. This year, though, it will not be a thing. Memphis Madness will not be held ahead of the Memphis basketball season. Instead, it will be the Memphis basketball block party. This is interesting to me because I sort of have two different directions of thought. I like Memphis Madness for what it means to the city, getting down to FedEx Forum. A lot of people get hyped up. It's fun. It's getting to meet the players, getting to see their personality, yada, yada, yada. But maybe, just maybe, and stick with me here, might be a decent thing. Because there's so much made about it. There's so much smoke, so much hype that comes through Memphis Madness. Maybe just getting rid of it for a year and trying to play it cool. Maybe try something different compared because it has.
I'm with you.
It hasn't led to good starts, and I'm not saying it's directly Memphis Madness' fault, but maybe less smoke, right? Is an okay thing.
And maybe I really like the let's just go to work aspect of it. And another thing, Coach Hardaway has the program's back on a good sales front footing. I mean, the season ticket sales are back. Suites and Skybox back. Now we need We need more of those people that buy those tickets to be in them this year, and I think that will come with this albatross lifted, with this black cloud lifted. But I like the let's just go to work aspect and the show me, don't tell me, and then if the year is what I think it can be, and next year you celebrate kicking off next year, really kind of lauding the exploits of this year.
And I don't want to overthink it or overdo it.
No.
Like I'm not saying I'm happy.
It's almost like a spring game. Let's not make too much spring football one way or the other.
But that's the thing is it's been a huge thing. The amount of when it comes to Memphis Madness, especially since Penny has taken over and the recruits that he's bringing in, Memphis Madness is. What are your takeaways? The next day you see. 15 articles. What are your takeaways from Memphis Madness? Oh, Jalen Duren's big.
Who will be the other three teams in the Final Four?
Amani Bates has a good shooting stroke. Final Four. It's like, at some point, all of that smoke.
I like the show me, don't tell me.
It's a change.
Let's go to work.
I enjoy it. And I don't know where the block party is going to be held. I haven't gotten all that information, but it'll be on October 15th. For men's and women's basketball. So that should be
November 7th, rapidly approaching opening night on the road at Vanderbilt at Memorial Gym. That'll be here in blink of an eye.
Yeah. And
you know what else will be here that day? Tigers Bankroll.
Oh gosh. Yes. So we're ignoring the exhibition games, right? I'm just kidding.
Yes.
Well, there's no lines on those. So.
Well, we can make lines for them.
You want to make
Sure.
lines?
I don't want to risk a dime of my bankroll on those exhibition games.
But that's going to be such a quick start to the season.
Do we tackle the Grizzlies bankroll, or is that just too big for us?
I think Bryant and I have had discussions behind closed doors. I don't know where he's at right now.
Y'all's call.
I said no.
Okay.
I think 82 games is too much to do a bankroll.
Poor banker and me keeping up with. Oh man,
yeah, really.
I give me some scratch outs. Yeah.
What do you think, Bryant? Are you in?
I don't know. I'll be honest. I was driving home today, and I had a phone call with my brother, and he was like, I really want to go to a preseason game this year. So I was looking to see what preseason games were at home that we'd want to go to, and I saw the line for the opening game against the Knicks, and I got very excited about betting on the Grizzlies this year. So right now I'm a yes.
I'm also told by Grizzlies officials we could see record preseason crowds at FedEx Forum.
Oh, I don't
even
doubt
bigger than when FedEx Forum first opened.
Oh, wow.
You know, when it comes to Grizzlies preseason,
many tickets have been sold.
And I was part of them, and you tipped off everybody to that. That's great.
I love it.
Immediately.
No. I mentioned it to you off there. You went on there with it.
But I just
that is true.
Good
point,
that's
Brett.
true. That's true, and I acknowledge that. So I was wrong I was clearly wrong. All right. The imagery there, whatever you want to call it, I was incorrect. But
no offense,
you knew immediately. Why? It's interesting. I go and make a purchase, and then the next day, Brett's like, "Hey,
I know your Amazon purchases, Gabe."
You might.
I don't.
You
I don't know anything
even know about
that.
an HDMI cord, but he tracks my Amazon purchases.
Right.
But for the Tigers basketball program, it's gonna have to be quick though. It's gonna be quick to start the year at Vandy, at SLU.
Gabe, I can tell you. The
VCU.
Grizzlies are proud that you're a season ticket holder. They really are.
I'm glad to be a season ticket holder. I'll be at a preseason game. I'm going to check that out.
Because everybody around the sports world, they want 20-somethings going.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Got my 2 tickets. I'm excited.
They don't need
I'm ready
me.
to go. I'm pumped up, ready to go. As far as NBA training camps, have you seen some of these notes sort of coming out?
I am. And I like it all. I just like that it's there.
Yeah, it's football season for me, though. I have to be honest. I'm still entrenched in everything football. But I keep my ear.
I like
to
the
it.
confluence. I like when it all collides.
For the Bulls, did you see the Lonzo Ball stuff? Can't run or jump without having his left knee, which has been surgically repaired.
That's not good because it's a run and jump sport.
Potentially third surgery for him.
I mean, this ain't pickleball.
Also, with the Pelicans in the same division as the Grizzlies,
Have you seen Zion?
He looks good.
You've seen
That's
his
where
body.
I was going with this. He looks great. Willie Green literally has been first 2 days of training camp cannot stop saying good things about Zion.
I can't blame him. And Gabe, I've said it many times. I'm going to pay for this one of these days. Zion's going to beat the Grizzlies. He's going to win something against the Grizzlies that I don't want him to, but I want him to flourish. I don't want the B word attached to him because he's been the I word. He's been injured. I don't want any bust stuff around Zion Williamson. I want him to work. I want New Orleans to work, and I want that to become the regional big rivalry.
It's weird because, like, he's already made an all-star team. He's already averaged 20-some-odd points per game. Like, he's like, the whole bust word is tough for me because it's like I think by definition, if you're on the court and you're producing at an all-star level, it's hard to really attach bust to you. Yeah. It's just hard. Now, that team I have questions about. I think from a talent perspective, they're great. But you have, 4 guys in that starting lineup who need the ball in their hands. We've seen Jonas need
Brandon
the ball
Ingram
in his
has to have it.
Brandon Ingram, Zion, C.J. McCollum.
I think they need a little more seasoning. C.J. McCollum brings
they got to learn how to play with
old
each other.
head. Mm-hmm.
They played way better with C.J. McCollum in the lineup. But that's a lot of ball in the hand, ball dominant guys.
Only one ball, Gabe. Did you know that? Only one ball.
I knew that. Yeah. You know what? September only one ball conversations.
Only one day left in September too for one ball in September talk.
Though. Golly. But seriously though, with the Pelicans, I think they'll be a better team. But that is it's an interesting makeup of characters.
It is, and Willie Green got that job just kind of standing there. I don't think they knew what they had in him. And the start they got off to last year, and he kept it all together, injuries, where they rank in New Orleans sports, and kept plowing. And by the end of the year, it was a tough out.
Mm-hmm. Yes. But now you add Zion back into that equation. And Zion, if you're talking about who he is, extension, he's got to be a guy who has the ball in his hands. And I wonder how Brandon Ingram handles that. I wonder how C.J. McCollum handles that. Jonas, it's going to be an interesting thing. Because Zion has to be sort of the center of attention if you're that Pelicans front office and that coaching staff. You have to know that is what you have to do with him. Are
you guys buying the Steven Adams as a threat from 3? Because I remember we used to laugh about Marc Gasol being that.
No, absolutely not.
There was a time nobody thought Marc Gasol could become that.
Well, at least Marc Gasol had a decent shooting stroke.
Yeah, he does.
Steven Adams shoots with one hand. He
kickbacks.
He barely puts his other hand on the ball.
Garbage buckets. Yeah.
Respect, and you've been on Twitter lately, Brett. I love it.
I have.
You've been watching some off-season hype videos of Steven Adams in the lab. Lab.
I saw him at TikTok. That's where I get all my news.
No, you didn't. No chance. Who do you follow on TikTok? Who's your favorite follow? Let's hear it. Tom Brady, TB12.
Never been a second.
Oh gosh. Who do you
Same
follow?
amount I've been to the Facebook. Zip.
You're watching TikTok videos. That's great. That is fantastic. We've come a long way with Brett and his HDMI cord and his TikTok videos. Let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, it'll be time for Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You don't think about a lawyer until something goes wrong. When that happens, let attorney Stephen Leffler fight for you and your family. You don't leave the house in the morning expecting an accident, but it happens every day. A car wreck, you slip and fall, or you get accused of a crime and find yourself fighting for your reputation. Stephen Leffler has been fighting for you for over 35 years. Don't do it alone. Let Stephen Leffler fight your battles for you. Call Stephen Leffler, 901-527-8830, or go to LefflerLaw.com. Here to fight for you and your loved ones.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
You need concrete coatings, materials, and supplies in Memphis fast, and you get this answer? Oh, yeah, we got that stuff, I think, but it's in Wisconsin, so you're going to have to wait a few days for delivery. Why wait? Get your concrete coating and supplies now at TSS Supply. Everything that you need for coating concrete at TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road. And you're not dealing with just any supply store. TSS Supply specializes only in concrete coatings, materials, and supplies, all in one place. Most products are delivered same day or within 24 hours. Looking for a particular item, you need large quantities, or just have general questions, call them at 901-729-0565. Or you can email your question to Brad at tsssupply.com. All month in October, TSS Supply is celebrating its grand opening with 10% off your first order. Come by TSS Supply on Wednesday, October 5th for their official grand opening party. Sports 56 will be broadcasting live, plus have free food and prizes. TSS Supply, 5665 East Rains Road.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off of Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday, baked chicken, Italian Tuesday, spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $8.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $10.95. And veggie plate, $9.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
Scott Graham here from Westwood One. Thursday night primetime action coming up when the red-hot 3-0 Miami Dolphins travel to Cincinnati to take on Joe Burrow and the Bengals. Ian Eagle and Hall of Famer Tony Baselli will have the call on air or on the free live stream sponsored by AutoZone. Get in the zone, AutoZone. Don't miss any of the action on Thursday Night Football.
Right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Football season is underway, so now is the perfect time to download FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers get a no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's free bets back. If your first bet doesn't win, just sign up with the promo code WIN. FanDuel has all your favorite bets from the money line to point spreads to player props. So sign up today with promo code WIN for your no-sweat first bet. Make every moment more this season with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL.
Must be present in state where lawful to wager. 21 plus in select states. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable free bets that expire in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit fanduel.com/RG. Colorado, Iowa, Michigan, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Virginia. 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT-STEP to 53342. Arizona 1-800-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat. Connecticut 1-800-9-WITH-IT. Indiana, Kansas 1-800-522-4700 or visit ksgamblinghelp.com. Louisiana 1-877-770-STOP. New York 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. Tennessee Redline 1-800-889-9789. Wyoming, West Virginia 1-800-522-4700 or visit 1-800-GAMBLER.net.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by DeSoto Auto Sales.
Let's talk some numbers here.
Here once again are Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy.
I used to feel some...
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy!
This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla. with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
A couple of things I learned today. One, Joel Embiid was sworn in as a U.S. citizen 2 weeks ago in Philadelphia, so good for him. I didn't know that he had gone all this time without being a U.S. citizen, but
can
finally
be on the Olympic
gets that.
team like Akeem Olajuwon did one time.
Mm-hmm. Also, PGA Tour countersues LIV. They claim that LIV interfered their existing, a lot of the players' existing tour contracts by offering astronomical sums of money. That seems pretty straightforward. Also, there are claims that the anti-competitive measures that LIV is suing over pale in comparison to what LIV is actually enacting to their guys. The PGA Tour motion states that this case is not about unfair competition. If anyone is competing unfairly, it is LIV, not us. Instead, it is a cynical effort to avoid competition and to free ride off the tour's investment in the development of professional golf. So we'll see how this ends up going. But it's becoming a measuring contest. This is ridiculous.
Rory wants peace. I learned Aaron Judge, he got to 61, now tied with Roger Maris for 7th most in a season. Barry Bonds first was 73. Mark McGwire was 70. Sosa was 66. McGwire was 65. Sosa again was 64. Sosa again was 63. What did Bonds, McGwire, Sosa, Judge, and Maris all have in common? None of them are in Cooperstown.
Wow. What I could have done without. Air Force, of all people, Air Force football, of all people, gets placed on probation by the NCAA due to recruiting violations. It just shows that the NCAA will stop at nothing to just punish everybody, even our military members.
Shouldn't they have congressional oversight, not NCAA
Good
oversight?
Lord. Probation for recruiting violations.
That's our money, isn't it?
What are we talking about? Also, Brett Favre is a ghoul. For hope, they figured it out again, and obviously the $5 million if the $5 million he siphoned from welfare funds for the state of Mississippi to Southern Miss wasn't enough. His foundation, Far for Hope, donated more than $130,000 to USM athletics between 2018 and 2020, and the money for Far for Hope was meant for children and cancer patients. I mean, good Lord, man.
A good investigation on a lot of these foundations may be in order. I could have done without this. The last time Tua played Joe Burrow, it was Joe Burrow and LSU winning at Bryant-Denny Stadium, and Ed Orgeron after the game saying blank Bama and declaring that LSU had passed Bama. Let's check in on Coach Buffoon. Very rich, but a sideshow now at 38 bars. And since then, LSU's been 20-13. And Bama's been 33-3. Be real careful on having declared passing Bama.
Yeah, the best thing that we got from Coach O is a Little Rock Touchdown Club soundbite. That's all we've heard from him lately.
That he laughed at his former bosses.
Yes. Yeah. I wonder how they feel about that. Probably not great, right? Scott Woodward. And
they
Joe
wanted him though. He looks like us. He talks like us. He's one of us. And then he's not.
Yeah, what we're looking forward to tonight, I want to see this Dolphins and Bengals game. Also, I'm going to be looking at Utah State and BYU. Very not all that closely, but we'll see. And I'll keep an ear out on what's going on with the Phillies.
Phillies already lost today,
or not the Phillies. The Brewers could take a potential lead, and get that third wild card spot.
Almost must win time now for Seattle. The Mariners late against Texas. Padres, they need wins. They play at home against the Dodgers. And just how injured is Tua? Sadly, he's always hurt.
You want to hear the stat I saw yesterday that has to do with an NFL game that we're going to see this weekend? And obviously the Patriots are struggling now because Mac Jones is going to miss likely several weeks with a high ankle sprain. Did you hear the stat about Brian Hoyer? Have you guys seen this? So Brian Hoyer is going to start that game, and I guess him and Bill Belichick love each other, and that's why he's been on the Patriots at the end of his career. Brian Hoyer has lost 11 straight starts when he has started football games in the National Football League. His last win as a starter was 2016 with the Bears, and he's going to have to trot out there this weekend. And I don't know. I would say fade fade the Patriots against the Packers on the
Could
road
be the
in
last
Lambeau.
year for Belichick, too.
Yeah, well, we'll see. We'll see. That's a prideful guy. But that's all we have for today. Thanks for joining us. Thanks to Bill Bender, Rob Fisher, and Greg Gasser for their contributions to today's show. For Brian, for Brett, I'm Gabe. Enjoy your night and be safe. We will talk to you tomorrow.